coming right there.
All right, hey guys, welcome back to Tactical Rifleman. I hope you guys are doing good. I'm going to dial my sound down here just a little bit so I don't freak you guys out that much. All right, so here's the deal. Let me know that you guys can hear me okay. I want to welcome you to Tactical Tuesday. What is this? We're calling this Tactical Tuesday. It's like 133, something like that. We got a great sponsor tonight, Acre Gold. I've got the affiliate link. If you guys are interested, you can go underneath this video in the description. Got the affiliate code there. Cool part about Acre Gold is, or what is Acre Gold? I appreciate you asking. Here's the deal. You don't break the bank. You pay $50 a month, and Acre Gold keeps you up to date on how your gold stash is growing. And when your stash reaches that amount right there, they ship it to you discreetly, quickly, and safe, easy, and secure. Cool part is these are the perfect size gold bars to put inside your survival belt. That's not really how they market them, but think about your ballistic nylon belt or even those leather belts that people wear. They normally are 2 layers of leather, stitched at the top, stitched at the bottom. Now, if you've taken like our high-risk travel courses, you know, we talk about snipping the threads out of about 2 inches center of your back on the back of the belt. And that's so you can get to your handcuff key. And then in one side, I usually put a set of lock picks, and the other side stuffed up inside, I usually keep a Zaxby straw filled up with a couple €100 and a couple hundred US $100 bills and a couple €100 bills. Cool, but the rest of the belt, what do you do with the rest of the belt? That's where that Acre Gold, man, that is the perfect size right there, 2.5 grams. They got other size bars if you want other size bars. But anyways, if you're interested, again, acregold.com. I prefer if you use the affiliate link that I have under the video so they know that I sent you, and I want to thank them for sponsoring this video. Good stuff indeed. I believe you guys can hear me okay. I think so. All right, so here's the deal. If you're new, we will be, I got to close this window here real quick. Close that one. All right. I think you guys can hear me all right. You don't have to do anything for questions. If you have a question, that's why we do Tactical Tuesday live streams. This is a chance for me to share what's new and up to date in my life, but also a chance for you guys to ask questions. Now, how do you do that? You can do super chat. I like it when you do super chat, right? YouTube gets 40% of that right off the top. No big deal, right? It helps me put my daughter through college. I'm not bitching. But you don't have to. If you can't afford it, you're still welcome here. Everybody's welcome in our chat room. I just ask that you keep it PG-13. I have moderators. All right? I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but they're highlighted in mine. For example, chemistry student, Donut, Susan. They are moderators, and what they do is if you've got a legitimate question, they will pluck that question and they will actually send me pictures of it, which is kind of cool. Kind of cool indeed. I've got a couple great guests coming on tonight. Steve Holland. Everybody loves Steve Holland, Minigun Steve. But he needed a designated driver. So who's going to give Steve a ride? Lo and behold, Jay Johnson. Jay Johnson was the weapons guy on my very first A-team. 100 years ago, right after Desert Storm. Yeah, I know, I'm old. So anyways, maybe you guys can pry a couple old Carl Erickson stories out of Jay. We'll see. This is the first time we've had Jay on a live stream, so we'll see. Jay has been on a video, if you go back through our video archive, where we talk about all the modifications on the Special Forces Humvee. We did it, the tour down at Mill Systems Group in Nashville. Jay did the whole tour. It's like an hour-long video. It's one of our, back then we were only doing like 10-minute long videos, and Jay and we went all the way through that Humvee. We literally talked for an hour. Funny stuff indeed. But that's all right. Good stuff. Since last time we did this, I had to unplug for a little while, came back, but I literally just dropped my parents off at the airport, and they came down because my daughter, Isabella, just graduated from University of Kentucky with a nursing degree. Now, whether she's going to be a nurse or a nurse practitioner or go on to be a doctor doesn't matter. For right now, she can go out and make some money. So I'm very, very proud of my girl. She graduated with high honors. I'm sorry, I don't remember cum laude, whatever. I don't know. All I know is I got my money's worth. My daughter is insanely smart to begin with, but now she's smart and educated. The girl is very, very driven. I'm very, very proud of my daughter. Very, very proud of her. So anyways, I've had my parents that came, they flew down from Connecticut. Yeah, I know. I'm from Connecticut. Don't hold it against me. I hate Connecticut as much as the rest of you guys. But so I've had my parents here. It's awesome visiting with them because now I don't have to go back up to Connecticut for 5 more years. See my parents every 5 years. I'm good with that, right? So we had a great time. It's always great to visit with my father, my mother. I thought about having them do story time with Carl's parents for my patrons, but I didn't do that. I couldn't bring myself to have you guys sit through some of the jackassery of my childhood. So I didn't do that. That said, I did just film this month's Storytime with Carl video for Patreon. And so for all my patrons out there, be looking for it tomorrow morning. I've got to get it. My son is uploading it. He does all, you guys know the deal. He does the editing of our videos and stuff. He's going to get it uploaded. Tomorrow, I am doing a medical course with Travis Hall down at Montgomery County Shooting Complex. 1 day medical class, great training. It's too late for you to get in on it. And then the following day, which would be Thursday, we doing Combat Pistol 101 and then Combat Pistol Carbine the following 2 days. After that, those classes are sold out. Don't even try getting in on them. But that said, we've got a lot of classes that are not sold out yet. You guys are lucking out. Right. So anyways, if you're interested in taking classes with us, the Tactical Rifleman team, you can go to tacticalrifleman.com and you can check out our training schedule there. The whole 2022 course schedule is up. The big ones that I'm surprised that they haven't filled yet are the medical classes and high-risk travel class. High-risk travel, I know the name's not sexy, but guys, you get into making handcuff shims and picking handcuffs with bobby pins and everything else, and doing surveillance, counter surveillance, and what to do when you're on an airplane that's being hijacked, how to act in a hotel, how to act in a taxi. You literally get out and do surveillance and counter surveillance exercises. So it doesn't matter. We're doing that twice this year, once in August, once in December. Now, it doesn't matter that August is too hot. It doesn't matter that December is too cold, because most of the class is indoors, and when you're outside doing the surveillance, counter surveillance, most of it, not all of it, but most of it is done in a vehicle. So you're actually planning routes, doing all that stuff. So anyways, if you want to take a class, but you're worried about being too hot outside, I agree. Texas is too hot in August. But both these classes are going to be at Montgomery County Shooting Complex here in Clarksville, Tennessee. High-risk travel is in August and December. We've got medical class coming up in July, another one in August, another one in, I think, September. A bunch of good classes. Susan Britcher is just throwing down our first 2 questions from you guys. Let's see what we got. Can you ask Carl if he knows Colonel Alan West, who is trying to become president of NRA? I won't say that I know Alan West well. It was a couple of years ago. We didn't go last year. The year before that, I remember when it was. The years blur together. But we were at the NRA show, and Alan West was there. And we actually did an interview with him. We posted it immediately that day. And it was decent interview. And so I've met him, I know him okay, but I won't say that that I know him well enough to actually say that I know the guy. That would be no. Now, Coach Kevin Jimerson from Texas A&M, he's the one that introduced me to Adam West at dinner, and Alan West, whichever one it was, I don't know. But anyways, decent guy, and I would love to have him be president of the NRA. I just know they need to get rid of the schmuck that's in there right now. Alan West for president of the NRA. All right. A lot of people want to bash the NRA. Here's the deal. We need to support all organizations that support the Second Amendment. This whole listening to the propaganda being put out by the mainstream media, you understand they're dividing us by getting you pitted against each other. So I love Gun Owners of America. I love National Association for Gun Rights. I love these other smaller organizations, but that doesn't mean turn your back on the NRA, which is still the largest lobbying thing on the planet as far as the NRA goes. All right, Jim Toots, hey Carl, love the streams and thank you for your wisdom. I was wondering if you have seen anything about demonstrated concepts, cheek AR-15 pistol concept for vehicle home defense. Brother, I got no idea what you're talking about. I'll tell you what, though. I'm going to write it down, and I will look it up. And maybe we'll chat about it another day. Demonstrated concepts. Cheek AR-15 concept. No idea. Here's the deal, guys. Understand, even when I check it out, I still may not give you an opinion. But Carl, you checked it out. Yeah, that's like I got asked once. I was down in Tier 1 group. I was running a Rogers course, 5-day computerized pistol course for all the executives from Remington. The CEO of Remington at the time was a guy named George Colatides, and had all the executives down there. And he said, Carl, what do you think of 300 Blackout? I'm like, I don't have an opinion. And they're like, you just talked for 20 minutes straight about 7.62 by 51. You don't have an opinion on 300 Blackout. You've never shot it. I'm like, I've shot it a couple times, but I don't know enough about 300 Blackout to give you an opinion. So they, and the next thing you know, they sent me an AAC 300 Blackout upper. What was it? 200 rounds of subsonic, 200 rounds of supersonic ammo. And I get a phone call. They're like, Carl, I saw you got the gun. What do you think about 300 Blackout? I don't have an opinion. They're like, what? What do you mean you don't have an opinion? I'm like, hold on. I'm getting an opinion. I was hand loading 300 Blackout because one of the biggest advantages of 300 Blackout is subsonic. But if you're going to run subsonic ammo, it's always going to be better to hand load so you can match it exactly to your gas system length barrel, because it needs to function the weapon reliably, but the slower you can get it, the quieter it's going to be. So it needs to be just fast enough to cycle the gun reliably, right? So, and I did down the road after I just got a bunch of Lehigh Defense Control Chaos projectiles and a bunch of 300 Blackout brass from Phil W. and Heather Flyfishers, good people. We're going to have to work out a trade for that because that's awesome. So I've done a lot of reloading of 300 Blackout. I love 300 Blackout. I have an opinion on 300 Blackout now, but this new thing, I don't. So it may be a while before I get you that reply. And here's the deal is I could look at it, read what other people on the internet have said, and then go to you guys and say, hey, this applied concepts, what blah, 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 cheeky AR-15 concept is this, this, and this. I could just regurgitate the marketing points that other people do on the internet. I could do, but that's not me. I would rather just say, I don't have an opinion. So as of right now, I don't have an opinion. All right. Wow, I'm falling behind already. Okay, that's fair. All right. demonstrator. I see Pyrotactics 1986 threw down a $5 super chat. And he's got a blue turd. Okay, fine, if that's your thing. Okie Precision, Tactical Rifleman. Do you recommend the 3X Primary Arms SLX Prism with ACSS or the 1X on a 5.56 AK-74 Wazzer 3? All right, I know a lot of guys are looking forward to the new Micro Prism. It's basically, and I've got them kicking around here. The Micro Prism is roughly this big. This is actually a magnifier, the 3X magnifier that goes behind my 1X Micro Prism. The 3X Micro Prism is basically the exact same size. It just has a fixed 3X magnification. So basically, it's like replacing an ACOG with a 3X by Primary Arms. Now, they're very, very high quality. It can take it. Serious heart attack, it can take it. Ask the guys that come to my classes. I beat the crap out of these guns all the time. I actually have a video on the 1X coming out soon. The advantage of these things over a regular ACOG that has a fixed ocular focus, because they're made for 21-year-old Marines that have perfect eyesight, is you can focus the ocular lens back and forth to match it to your eye prescription, so you don't have to wear shooting glasses, and that reticle will still be crystal clear. All right, so it's awesome. It is awesome. Very, very awesome. But do I prefer the 3X over the 1X? I personally prefer the 1X. Here's why. The 1X is always going to be better up close in the house, number one. And number two, an AK, I'm not taking past 300 meters anyways. My 5.56, I'm not really taking. Can it get out to 4, 5? It can. But a 13.7 inch barrel, I'm really running out of gas past 300. Same thing with an AK. So me personally, I would run a 1X. If you need magnification, you reach into your 3-day pack, you pull out your magnifier, you clip your magnifier onto the gun, swing it behind it, and that allows you to observe the target better. What do you need magnification for? Does magnification make the gun more accurate at distance? It doesn't. The rules of physics do not change. It still comes down to accurate or precise ammo through a precise barrel with a optic or iron sights perfectly aligned with a precision monkey hooked on the back of it. You are part of that weapon system. So what does magnification do for you? What it does is it allows you to have better situational awareness right there at the target area. You can identify friend or foe better. You can identify exactly who it is if this is a mafia hit. All right. You see what I'm getting at? So there were guys that, all my old instructors, the old NOM vets back in the day, they would shoot 1,000-yard iron sight matches every weekend, and they would crush these matches. And then the guys with the scopes on the same guns are not shooting any more accurate. So Primary Arms is excited about their 3X Micro Prism because it's going to compete against the ACOG, and that's good. It's an awesome ruggedized scope. But for me personally, I'm an EOTech kind of guy. I like a good red dot. Now, if you want something where you'll never have to worry about batteries ever dying, the Primary Arms 1X Micro Prism, the last 3 classes I ran it in, I didn't even turn the optic on. It's got an illuminated reticle, but even with the reticle turned off, it's still got the black donut of death with the little chevron in the middle, and you can still see it. You can still see it just fine in the dark, going into the shoot house indoors. Turn it on. All right, it's got night vision settings, blah, blah, blah. But the cool part, especially for a prepper gun or somebody preparing for an uncertain future, I highly, 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 highly recommend the 1X Micro Prism. You guys are going to be excited. What day does that video come out? I actually got that right here. 1X Micro Prism. It is slated to come out May 27th. So you guys are like 2 weeks away. It might get bumped because I haven't got another edit from Heather yet. But I literally just finished the torture testing on it. What I mean by torture testing was literally I put the scope in a block of ice. And which was funny because some of the ice was all around the charging handle, and I thought I had broke the charging handle beating it with the hammer to get the action open. It turns out it didn't break. My TR1 is a tough rifle. But after we broke it out of the ice and shot groups to see whether cooling the scope down that much would affect the zero, because my range is literally 75 meters away from the deep freezer. And then I did the same thing. I put it in the oven, got it up to, I want to say it was like, we set it at 220, but when we checked the temp, it was like 235 degrees. Put my whole upper in it. I'm glad my Surefire weapon light and the rubber buttons and cords can handle the heat also. But so why would you do that? Well, Carl, you're never going to fight in temperatures 230 degrees. No, but how about that patrolman that leaves his patrol rifle in the trunk of his cruiser in Texas? That trunk can get hot as hell. He goes to pull it out. Now, there was a problem back in the day with what they called thermal drift of the Zero. They singled out EOTech for it, and EOTech basically fell from grace for a couple of years. But then basically they showed that everybody else has the same problem. You shift a little bit, okay, a little bit. But they came back and said, look, we have fixed the problem. I don't know if they did or not. I just know that I have always confirmed zero of my gun, even overseas. As soon as you get the country, like our forces, before they went into Iraq, they would zero their guns back at Fort Campbell, wherever, Fort Bragg, wherever. They'd fly to Kuwait. They would confirm zero on their guns there, and then they would take the convoy up into Iraq. For us, the SF guys, we would fly straight into Iraq to our base, whatever. But as soon as you got there, you confirm zero on your guns. As soon as you land in Africa, as soon as you land in Afghanistan, you confirm zero on your guns, and you check them periodically. You trip and fall getting off the helicopter, you confirm zero on your gun. So thermal drift doesn't really bother me, but I told you guys I would give you a thorough test of the gun. So I am almost ready to, I'm done testing the 1X micro prism. I'm done testing. It's still on my gun. Give you an idea of how much I like it. I'm not done editing the video yet. All right, let's see who else we got here. Sorry, Susan, I'm falling behind. Story of my life. American Patriot. I'd love to know Carl's thoughts on Sig winning the Army contract. Wonder how he thinks they will use the new battle rifle and new belt-fed Sigs. Sig actually won a bunch of contracts. Obviously, the new Army pistol. Everybody's like, oh, Glock should have got it. Glock should have got it. Okay, I got that. The Sig is a monstrous improvement over the M9 Beretta. Insanely better. My only gripe with a Glock, and you guys know I love Glocks. First and foremost, a pistol, any firearm has to be reliable. And Glock has got that hands down. But it's 80s technology. It is. Like it or not, the Glock hasn't changed since the 80s. Now, my only gripe with the Glock is it didn't have an external safety on it. So that was kind of the requirement. You had to have an external safety. The Sig gun, how they beat out Glock was they basically said, we'll sell it this much cheaper than the Glock. Now, Glock's like, to beat that price, we would have to lose money on each gun. We're not willing to do that. Okay. Sig was willing to lose money on it, but understand if the Army buys that contract, then the Marines will, then the Navy, then the Air Force, then the Coast Guard, then every civilian out there, law enforcement, everything. So Sig was smart from a marketing standpoint, business standpoint, and they got the pistol contract. It is a good pistol. It is. There's a lot of gripes, like everything else that's new. Look at some of the Gen 1 Glocks back in the day. you have issues with them. You do. So they will. I look forward to the Army having a great run with the new M17, M18 pistols. You guys will see me using them in more and more classes as more and more guys show up with them. My gun belt, I have to be able to take my holster off, because if I'm training a unit that runs single stack 1911s, which is single action, I have to practice with and do the course with a single stack 1911. If I have a class that's doing it with Berettas, I have to practice for 3 days because it's a double action pistol with an external decocking lever and safety, an external hammer. I have to practice with that. So usually I run a Glock at our open enrollment civilian courses because most people are showing up with Glocks. But as you see more and more SIGs show up, you guys will see me running basically whatever everybody else is running. One thing that a lot of people don't notice is I'll go down the line, and if most of the class is running iron sights, that's all I would run would be iron sights. I always had a pistol with an optic on it, but if all the clients are running iron sights, I need to be able to train them with what they have. Cool part though is I show like Thursdays class, Combat Pistol 101. I guarantee you 80-90% of the guys there are going to have optics on their guns. And the reality is, you guys have heard me say it for the last 5 years, that, hey, within 5 years, all combat pistols will have enclosed optics on them. And that's just the truth. They will, and they should. There's so many advantages of an optic over running iron sights for combat shooting. Right, for combat. There are disadvantages, but they do not outweigh the advantages during combat shooting. They don't at all. Now, the other contract, the one you're probably talking about, is the next generation squad weapon. Where's that casing at? I actually got one of them laying around on my desk here. 6.8. They call it the 277 Sig Fury. It is a overpowered, pressure-wise, basically a 308 casing with a steel bottom on it to take all the extra pressure, and then they necked it down to a 6.8 armor-piercing projectile, and it's badass. It is. Picture a rifle like an AR-10 that hits with as much energy as a 300 Win Mag. So this is designed to be a battle rifle, right? We used to, you guys remember the old M1 Garands, the M14s. Those are battle rifles. Well, end of World War II, Korean era and everything, we started seeing how the assault rifles being used by other countries, the AK, for example, performed very, very well. So we decided to make our own assault rifle, right? And that's what the birth of the M16 AR family of rifles. Now, I use the term assault rifle now, and I get people that give me shit on the internet all the time. Carl, AR does not stand for assault rifle. It stands for Armalite rifle. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not. I'm saying it is an assault rifle because that's what we got it for. Right? By definition, an assault rifle is a select fire carbine that fires an intermediate cartridge. So instead of it shooting an adult cartridge, it shoots an intermediate cartridge, not a pistol cartridge, an intermediate one in the middle. And that's exactly what 5.56 is. The 223 is a varmint round, but it allows the guys to assault with more ammo, and it's select fire. So I'm sorry if I'm hurting people's feelings by calling your AR an assault rifle. Carl, you're playing into the libtards. No, I'm not, guys. I call it apple a apple. I call it orange a orange. I will be right there with you, fighting alongside you to keep your guns. You know I will, but I will always call an apple a apple, an orange a orange. I will always call somebody that's biologically male a male. I will always call somebody that's biologically female a female. And everybody that wants to be in the middle, I just call you nutbags. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I love it. I love all you guys. My nutbags know I love them. Maybe not Jerry. All right. Okay, I'm sure I got a couple other ones. So how do I feel about Sig winning the next generation squad weapon? You guys may have watched the video. We're getting ready to go do a filming of the Sig 277 Fury. We are. Second half of July. I filmed the video on the Textron submission with the case telescoped ammo. And it was fun. It was fun. It's the lightest of all of them, all the submissions, but it's still a prototype and it was not ready to be fielded. It was not ready to be fielded. So it is what it is. I'm glad that Sig won that. Now, the other big contract that a lot of people are not probably not aware of is the Army's kind of getting away from the 50 cal, the Deuce. So what they have is the Sig has the 338 Norma machine gun. It's basically a upscaled 240 Bravo that shoots a 338 Norma. Now, the cool part is you, with a projectile that big, that heavy, you can make Rofus rounds with Petin explosive. You can. It's big enough to deliver payloads, what I'm saying. You have a better rate of fire. It is so much lighter than a M250 cal. A Deuce weighs a ton. It takes literally one guy carries the upper receiver, one guy carries a barrel, one guy carries a tripod, and 4 guys carry your ammo cans, 2 ammo cans apiece. I actually watched infantry guys carry a Deuce up a Yama in South Korea during Team Spirit. Those boys were wore out. They were wore out. I was carrying an M60 Pig 7.62 with 200 rounds of ammo. That's it, 200 rounds. It'd be gone in a minute. That's all I had. So that machine gun is designed to replace the 50 cal, like on Humvees and stuff like that, but also understand it penetrates and performs a lot better at distance than our 7.62 by 51 240 Bravos do. So you'll still have your saws that shoot the 6.8, but now you've got that general purpose machine gun that can reach out and defeat body armor at a much, much longer distance. And that's a big deal because why are we updating? Well, Carl, 5.56 works good. It does. Now, understand. And again, guys, this is just my opinion. Who am I? I'm a nobody. I'm a civilian now. I'm a fag, former action guy. But if you look at it, we've been fighting cavemen for the last 20 years. Basically, it's 22 right now. So for 21 years, we've been fighting cavemen. I mean cavemen. The Taliban, the Iraqi military. No, we've been fighting cavemen. If we have to go fight a conventional force with like skills and like levels of technology, we need to have a technological edge. That means air superiority, which right now is on the fence. It means drone superiority, which right now we do not have. It means electronic countermeasures, which right now we don't have, right? But it means artillery, but it also means small arms. Okay, and time for updates. So anyways, that's my take on Sig winning those contracts. I'm very, very happy for Sig. You understand Sig is just in the U.S. now, and I'm excited for him. I really am excited for him. Eddie Fan, hey Carl, it's been a while. Damn pandemic made me inactive with the TR family. Smiley face. Question: any recommendations on monopod versus rear bag for the upcoming precision rifle course? Make sure I didn't miss one. What do you think about running? All right, hold on. I'm gonna come back to you here in a second because I missed a couple. I got that one. Eddie, I'm not blowing you off. I'm trying to stay in order here because Susan will chew my ass for missing them. John A. Carl, I just received a Harris bipod as a gift. looking at some of the upgrades for it, etc., the feet and the attachment to Picatinny rail. Do you think this is a good idea? Do this for my 6.5 Creedmoor. Swapping the feet, that's kind of gay to me. What do I mean by that? I'm not saying it's homosexual. I'm not. All right, guys, understand. I'm not saying that. I am not. Changing the feet on a bipod, putting points so it can dig into the roof, the tar shingles on the top of a roof. Okay. Putting the big sand skis or snow skis on your bipod legs so they do better in the sand or the snow, total waste of money because they're going to sink in anyways. If you need to keep it above the snow, you put a piece of cardboard underneath it. No big deal. All right, or part of your shooting mat. No big deal. Stick with the feet you got. But the Harris makes good bipods. They're just not as good as the Atlas. All right, Steve Holland, my brother from another mother. Come on in, guys. All right, I see I got Steve here. Jay. All right, I'm going to get caught up real quick on questions. Thomas Alabrand. Hey, Carl, what do you think of running a 3X magnifier on an AR? Is it worth the extra weight? Thanks for all you do. This 3X magnifier, you want to see why it's on the desk here? It's because this is the one for my TR1 rifle. All right, in other words, I don't leave it on the gun. If you've got a good mount that's easy to torque on, leave it either in a pouch on your gun bag with like a throw lever, or leave it in your shooting bag, because the reality is you can get by with 1X. But if you need it to identify at distance, you can use it like that. But if you need to shoot at that distance, you can then put it on the gun. It's not like you're going to find yourself pinned down by 40 Chi-Com insurgents the next time you go to the mall, where you've absolutely positively have got to have 3X magnification to get that headshot and to solve that hostage situation in the Walmart parking lot. No. So I don't leave a 3X magnifier on the gun. It's not the weight. Understand, if you lay it to the side, you got your day optic, right? From the side, it's not the weight, guys. It's the blind spot. Literally, it's a blind spot. I now have shit right here that I can't see because I have a blind spot on the side of my gun. But Carl, all the pew-pew guys run them. I got that. I'm not a pew-pew guy. You make your educated opinion, your educated decision. I just want to give you guys little tidbits of information that none of the other pew-pew guys do. If you find yourself, and your situation is different than mine, if your situation says you warrant having that quick ability to go to 3X magnification, and the advantage outweighs the disadvantage of having the blind spot and the extra weight on the gun, go for it. Go for it 100%. But for me, it does not. I keep it off the gun in a pouch that I can quickly put onto the gun. All right. Susan, I'm trying. I got guests here too. Eddie Fan, recommendations for monopod versus a rear bag for the upcoming precision rifle course. It's going to be an awesome course. I actually got like 3 slots left for it. For those of you that want to get on it, that course is the last day of May, first day of June. It is in Tiger Valley, Texas, which is awesome. Damn, that's a good looking cup, Jay. As far as a monopod versus a sandbag, I used to run a monopod on my SR25 so that it was always there. I didn't have to dig through my bag to get a sandbag out. That said, if you are going to be shooting from a static position where you can go prone, a sandbag will always be more stable than a monopod. All right, that's just the truth of it. But I always ran a, let me show you. If you look in that picture right there, my SR25, it has a AccuShot monopod made by B&T Industries on it. Jay, you can come sit, brother. I'm trying to get caught up as quick as I can. All right, let's see. I skipped that one, skip that one. I'm not skipping your stuff. I'm not. Wayne Owansky, thoughts on compensated pistols. Some of you guys have to compensate for stuff. I got that. If you're shooting a 44 Magnum and you need to compensate for the recoil, I got that. Now, so Carl, you're saying you don't need a compensator. If you're running a pistol that has a threaded barrel, because you need the option of being able to put on a suppressor, right? Okay. For example, my EDC pistol has a threaded barrel on it. Okay. If you're going to run a thread protector on it anyways, why not run a compensator, right? Because we run compensators on our rifles. Why? Because it helps mitigate recoil. Anything that will help you cheat in combat, why not do it? Now, would I add extra length to my pistol just to have a compensator on a 9mm? No, I would not. I would not do it. Again, that's just my opinion. What do I know? I actually had a couple super chats come in here. Nice. Annalise and Kyle threw down 10 bones. When on a deployment or working with locals, what's the strangest cultural custom you've observed? Come on, Jay, come visit. Guys, I got Jay Johnson here from my very first A-team. Guys, the famous, the infamous Jay Johnson.
Hardly.
All right, so that's actually a good one for you. You remember some of those first goat grabs out in the middle of the desert? Not showing your feet to people. Only eating with your right hand. Now, I'm left-handed.
So am I.
All right. So when we go to the goat grabs, you had to only eat with your right hand. So you sit Indian style. I would sit on my left hand. I would sit on it, and that would keep me from using it. And
or put it in your pocket.
Yeah, put it in your pocket. I sat on it. All right. Strangest cultural custom. Treating the women like they're livestock. Literally, if you've got 4 males in their Bedouin pickup truck and 1 female, what would we do? We'd put the female in the middle probably. Nada, they put her in the back of the pickup truck because she's the same as the goat next to her. It's sad. Annalise, I'm sorry, but that's just how it is over there. Don't go over there. All right, salad dressing threw down 5 bones. Any input on field-worthy pants you trust being in the stank of a long time, cry or bust? Thank you, Carl. Cry Precision makes good stuff, but there's lots of companies out there that make good stuff. I like Kuhls, Kuhls. They are civilian pants that are made very, very tough. If you're in the winter, they've got the fire hose ones that are completely bomb-proof. In the summertime, they've got the lightweight, stretchy ones. All right. Lots of great pants out. How about you, Jay? They want to know what kind of pants does Jay Johnson wear.
I just wore uniform pants.
He wore uniform pants.
I'm not the cool guy.
He's not picky. That's why we love you, Jay. It's why we love Jay Johnson. Tim Moore threw down 50 bones just for shits and giggles. Dude, really? Tim, you didn't even have a question? Let me click on that puppy. No, he didn't. That is so awesome. Tim, I appreciate the support. I really do. Oki Precision. Tactical rifleman is 8 years too young for my daughter to start safely shooting the .22 long rifle she inherited from her grandfather. I don't think so. She's a good kiddo. All right, again, you as the parent need to make the decision. One thing I will say I did with me and my son and my daughter, they had to learn the rules of firearm safety at 7. All right. An example of it was, I want to say my son was 9 or 10. And we were going to go out to shoot. I have a range in my backyard. We're walking out to go shoot, and I said, Nick, what are the 4 rules of firearm safety? And now he can rattle these things off. He screwed them up. Now, I wanted to shoot that day, and my son wanted to shoot that day, but I deliberately put my arm around him, and I said, all right, we're going to go back to the house. We're going to talk about these. And even though I wanted to shoot that day, I specifically did it to stress to him the importance, that's how important the rules are. They're not just to be regurgitated. They really are important. And we went and sat down and we talked about the rules again. My son got his first deer at 10 years old. At 12 years old, it was actually his 13th birthday was the last day of the match. He took top junior shooter at the MGM Ironman, the biggest 3-gun match on the planet. The article that Junior Shooter magazine did on my son was 3 pages long. It's still hanging up in the hallway on the other side of that wall. I framed each page, and I was the proud father. But yeah, my son crushed it, and Hornady actually sponsored him for a couple years after that,
Really?
which basically just meant his dad got free ammo.
Oh, that's
Nothing
awesome.
wrong with that. And then he discovered girls, and my son doesn't shoot that much, and he still shoots. But same thing. Yeah.
We want to take the mystery out of it for kids.
Yeah. My daughter, she's not big into guns. She has shot. Her big thing was she liked to get a bigger buck than the guys at high school did.
Well,
Right, bragging rights for but and we don't shoot that much. She's not a gun girl. She can shoot. She knows the rules, all that stuff. But again, I don't force it down her throat. But at the same time, even if, and I challenge all you guys out there because you all have families, you are a gun person. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here visiting with me and Jay. But I challenge you, if you're not home, can you trust your family with all your firearms? And an example of that is I was practicing for a 3-gun match, and I had a shotgun out with a bunch of dummy rounds. I'm practicing my load 4s. Grab 4 off the bolt, load 2, load 4, grab the next 4. Load 2, load 4. That's 8 shells real quick. I'm doing dummy shells, but I got a call, had to go do something. I don't even remember what it was, but I left the shotgun sitting in the middle of the living room. When I came back later, the shotgun had been cleared and it had been put in the next room. What happened? I was gone, and in comes my daughter with all of her friends. Now, my daughter knows how to do all these firearms, but her friends do not. So even if your spouse, your mother-in-law, your son, your daughter don't want to do firearms, that's fine. You still need to teach everyone the rules of firearm safety, because if you take that fear away from them, one, you're making them better people, more capable citizens. But when the conversation comes up that, hey, we need to make all firearms illegal, no, now all of a sudden they're able, even though they're not a gun person, they're able to help you defend your gun rights. So how about you, Jay? When do you think it's...
Let me say something about kids and firearms,
Yeah.
because you want to take the mystery out. And we're in a military town.
Yeah.
A lot of the people around here have weapons. It's just, so your kids go over to somebody else's house. My fear has never been with my children. My fear has been being at a friend's house and finding their parents' weapon. And you just don't want them to be playing with it. My kids realize that, hey, we'll just leave it around. My kids had guns on gun racks in their rooms, their bedrooms.
Yeah, I remember that.
They were always told, remember they had the little Cabela's, Monte Carlo, side-by-side toy shotguns, but you actually put bullets in. But they thought they were absolutely real at a very early age, and they were told that they could get them down and look at them anytime they wanted. They just had to ask for their mom or their dad. And it took the mystery away from it. And guns have never been a unique thing. They're accustomed to them, and they're not afraid of them. And they don't mess with them that way. We started off real young. And like you say, you have the rules, and you don't mess around with it.
Jim Toots, hey, Carl. Do you have any thoughts on 1.93 or 2-inch optic mounts to keep your head more vertical and situational aware, also more comfortable instead of scrunching up? And this comes up every week. What he's talking about, guys, is you have your normal riser height, and then you've got the guys that are running the 8-inch tall optics now. So their optics, instead of being here, their optics are much higher, right? And you saw what he wrote, because he wants me to nod my head. Because this is why they say they're doing it. They say they're doing it so your head is more vertical, more situationally aware, and more comfortable. You're not scrunched down. The reality is because this is the new hotness. It's the new hotness. I got it. Everybody... so they bring their gun up, and I've heard people actually say it's faster because the optic gets to your eye faster. It doesn't matter. The gun has to come up horizontal with the planet. All right, so it's not coming up any faster. As far as you keeping your head up, more situationally aware, does not matter. Your head should be there. You should be bringing the gun to you anyway. So why are they doing it? Why is it the new hotness? The new hotness. Carl, you're a fag. You're a former action guy. You don't know this stuff. It's the new hotness now. Understand, it was also the new hotness in 2003. It was also the new hotness in 2000 for me, my unit. All right, now, here's why we had to do it. Gas masks. we had literally, I'll use 2003 as an example. It was not new for me in 2003, but my unit got the mission to do combat search and rescue in case a pilot got shot down. They were worried about Saddam doing chemical weapons. So if he slimed an area with nerve agent and the pilot happened to crash in there, you can't land a helicopter in there. So they would land us outside, and then we, in full Mop 4, would move through. We had ATVs to haul the rockets, the litter, the med gear, and my Barrett. But we would move in, dismounted basically, except for me, I got to drive it with my Barrett. But the plan was go in and then grab the pilot. Now, we need to be able to fight. Now, nods down, but gas mask, we had to stick our mounts out more. We actually went to using the Air Force single face shield gas mask, so for better situational awareness. But you couldn't get down on your optic. You couldn't. So we had to put the carrying handles back on our M4s and then mount our optics on top of it. And that was the only solution we could come up with. You had your head more vertical for better situational awareness, and it allowed you to see through it while wearing a gas mask. As soon as that mission was over with and Saddam no longer had any chemical weapons, you know what we did? Those carrying handles came off and we threw them away. We went back to low optics again. Why? Why did we do that? Because height over bore is too much for in the shoot house. With it too tall, it screws up your trajectory at distance, and you cannot shoot accurate at distance. I want to say that one more time for you. Having your taller, so it's better situational awareness. All right, take this out to the range. Do it. Go out to the range and try shooting groups at 200 and 300 meters, and you are going to be all over the place. But the reality is, the guys that are telling you this in their classes, and I'm not bashing them, they're doing it at inside 25 meters. They're doing it inside 50 meters. That's not where I want to fight. I'm too close. A guy with an AK, that's a fair fight. I want to fight that guy at 300 meters because I'm going to whip his ass at 300 all day long. All right, so we immediately took those off. Now, I mentioned we had to do it. That was a hotness in 2003. We had the same problem. It came up in 2000. Same thing. There was a Chembio thing, hitting missile silos, things like that. Fast forward again. Now, a lot of our tier units are back to doing what's called hard target defeat. Remember, we're gearing up to do a conventional military, which means, again, nuclear and chemical and biological. So, guys, they have to elevate this up. And it's not just that, but it's also the bad guys now have nods. So they can't turn on those IR illuminators to aim their guns anymore. So they have to look with their nods through their optics because that way they're 100% passive. That means, again, higher mounts. But for you to say, so that's why active duty units are running them right now with taller risers. The guys that are saying that it makes you more accurate, that it makes you faster, that it makes your head hurt less, does not matter. Ask anybody that ever learned how to shoot with a shooting jacket, long range precision, unsupported with a sling. There is nothing comfortable about accurate shooting. It is all about being stable and being able to line up that sight perfect every time. So I understand it's a new hotness. And when we do gas mask courses, and we're going to be adding to the classroom, adding it probably this fall or early next spring, you have to be able to look through your optic. All right, now this particular gas mask, and they sell one with a single face pane. See how deep those lenses are? Why do I run them that deep? So that when I drop my nod binos down, I get them closer to my eyes. So I'm looking through those toilet paper tubes with them closer to my face. Little things like that are important, and that's what should be important to you, not just drinking somebody else's Kool-Aid. Again, this is just my opinion. Jay, what's your opinion on it? He's like, Carl.
It's situational for what you're doing.
For what you're doing. All right. And again, I know that's what everybody's doing. I got that. I know that's the new latest hotness. But we just did a Carbine Zero Mastery course where we basically focused on point blank zero, and we did go out to 300, but the big thing was for guys to get data for shooting head size targets from 300 in, and somebody showing up with a tall riser would have been insanely handicapped for that course. By the end of that course, he would have taken it off. All right, John A. Carl was shopping around Surefire, found a 7.62 SFMB muzzle brake. It says on their site, won the SOCOM contract. Why go for muzzle brakes instead of a war comp flash hider? Because it mitigates recoil. Even 5.56 still has a little bit of recoil in it. Now, understand the reason why it got the contract, just like the war comp, the the Surefire SOCOM brake. That's what I run on my gun, by the way. It is also threaded for taking a suppressor. It is the Surefire Mini. Understand, running a suppressor in the shoot house is not to get rid of the sound. It's to get rid of the flash. And anyway, that's my opinion on it. I got opinions on everything. I really do. Thoughts on compensated pistols. We already did that one. I'm going to slide over so we can slide Steve Holland in here.
All right.
All right. You got to put the minigun guy in the middle. Come visit Steve Holland, my brother from another mother. All right, guys, I've got the mic. We're going to put it right here in front of Steve. Why? Because, Steve, we missed. No, Steve. Come snuggle. We got, no, dude, you got to be tight here. You got to be tight. Get over here. All right. I'm going to have to come in so we'll visit with Jay. Jay, man, I can't leave Jay hanging.
Oh, yeah, you can.
No, dude, Jay is awesome. All right, hey guys, so you see, I've got Steve, I've got Jay Johnson. Everybody knows who Steve is.
Aussie.
Yeah. Oh, is it oi? I think it's better.
Still working on our version, on the American version.
Chris Milk's World, why do so many tactical military guys wear mechanics gloves? What is special about them? Is it a tactical thing? No, they're good gloves, guys. You look under the front seat of my Jeep, and I have leather mechanics gloves. Back in the day, we had all these companies sending us gloves. The big thing was we wanted Nomex gloves so they wouldn't flash melt to your hands. And the 50 different companies made 50 different kinds of gloves. But a lot of the guys just found when they've got holes in their gloves, they couldn't quickly get another set of these fancy expensive ones. But you could go to any AutoZone, O'Reilly Auto Parts, and you could always get mechanics. Walmart. So they're cheap.
To quote Randy Rawhide Worst, gloves are shoes for your hands, like you got shoes on your feet.
Yes, very, very.
You go into combat without gloves, you're already behind the pecking order.
Yep.
You got to have shoes for your feet, for your hands.
All right. Scott wanted to know, what would be the best type of pistol class you recommend for somebody who has been shooting for years but wants to improve on all skills? There's a guy that's done a bunch of videos with us. His name is Rawson Herstoff. He Tactical Performance Center was started by this other guy, a famous IPSC Grandmaster or whatever, decades ago. I apologize, I don't know his name. I'm not a competitive shooter. He has passed away, but he passed the entire school over to Rawson. Rawson was his #1 student. Rawson has done a number of videos with us. Him and Emery are actually just wrapped up running a pistol class for a bunch of Australian special ops guys down in Texas. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. But Rawson with Tactical Performance Center, you can go to tacticalperformancecenter.com. He does classes literally all over the world. He has no problem traveling overseas. And Rawson, because I believe in doing continued education. The last pistol class I took myself personally was with Rawson at the Louisville Armory. He will take a new shooter and he'll round off all your sharp edges so you can bring your spouse with you. He'll make your spouse a better shooter. He can take an IPSC Grandmaster in open class or, whatever class you're shooting. It doesn't matter if it's revolver class, limited class, tactical class, whatever. Rawson will make you better with that pistol. Hands down, I consider Rawson the best pistol instructor on the planet. Tactical Performance Center, I have no affiliation with them at all. Rawson, I consider him literally the best instructor on the planet. Best school for all you guys that can afford to go and you can find one. I want to say there's like 9 Rogers courses across the U.S. now. It's a computerized combat pistol course. It's 5 days long. Each shooter shoots about 23 to 2,500 rounds per shooter. Sun up to sundown. The cool part about it is literally you're going to have your muscle memory by the end of it. It used to be, Bill Rogers is the guy that invented it. He was an FBI pistol instructor back at HRT back in the 70s. And his logic was you don't teach people to shoot skeet by sitting an orange clay pigeon on the side of the hill. You have to do it at combat speed, and eventually you start hitting the clay pigeons and your subconscious mind sees what correct looks like. So he measured human reaction times, basically 0.22 seconds, we'll say quarter second, and he built a 5-day curriculum off of that. And it does strong hand shooting, weak hand shooting, one-handed reloads, one-handed draw, support hand side draws, everything. 5 days long. It used to be, there was only 3 of them. There's one at HRT, one at Delta, one at SEAL Team 6. And then they're like, hey, we need to open this up to the military. And then Bill had his down in outside Atlanta, Georgia, up in the mountains. That's where I took the course. They opened it up to the rest of the military, international units, law enforcement. They're now open to the civilian population. They have one at Tier 1 group, and for me to get certified as an instructor down there, I was getting ready to take the course there, and the CEO of the company said, no, you need to go learn from Bill himself. I'm like Bill Rogers? They're like, yeah, Bill Rogers. So I got sent to go take it with Bill in Atlanta, Georgia at his range, and my entire class was Dutch Special Forces guys, the Dutch Delta, and they all spoke English except for when they were talking about me behind my back, in which case they spoke wooden shoe. And it was a great time, great course. Hands down, best pistol course for building muscle memory. But if you want, golfers go to a golf pro to look at how you do things and fine tune your stuff. Rawson is going to be your best guy for that. What do you guys think? Steve's like, yes.
Bill Rogers.
Bill Rogers.
He's the originator.
Yep.
He's the innovator.
He's older now. Bill's in his late 70s, but he's still, I believe, will still show up day one of his class down in Georgia. And there's like 20 or 30 Rogers ranges across the U.S. Bill only puts his name on a few of those because there is a way to slow the times down so that you can actually get hits. And that's not how Bill designed it to be. Your first day shooting, because he doesn't slow anything down. Those clay pigeons, and they're not clay pigeons, they're steel plates, but they are moving at human reaction times. And there are guys that don't hit a single plate the first day. Not at all. And you're either going to change how you do things and try it Bill's way, in which case you start getting better slowly, or you say, to hell with it, I'm going to just memorize the tests, and you get a little better just because you've memorized the tests. But I got a lot out of it, me personally. My girl is very responsible. What age would you move from 22 to 5.56? Good ear pro, because it's more of a blast hitting her in the face. Good eye pro, good ear pro. And whenever you, the parent, make the decision, do it bench rest shooting first. But like my wife she's 50 now, but just her going from her 9mm Sig MPX or me handing her my shorty AR without the can on it, she was ready to put that thing down. They weigh the same. The with the muzzle brake, the 5.56 actually recoils less than the 9mm does. But it was her, the loud noise, and her getting hit with the shock wave in the face. She was not. She's not ready for it. She did awesome.
There was a $5 question that popped up, asking me what did I think about your comment on the 408.
408. 408.
The cartridge, the caliber.
We were talking about the 6.8 Sig that just won the next generation squad weapon. Here it is, right here. Jerry J. Jerry J threw down 5. He's our Czech Republic guy, so I got to do it in that Czech accent. Have question for Steve. What is your opinion of 408 round? Carl have my sniper rifle on his phone. I believe he's talking about the 408 CheyTac.
Okay. What's his name?
Smiley face crying. His name's Jerry J. Jerry was a Czech special ops guy.
I don't have a Czech accent. Yeah. So I'll answer it in my Steve accent.
Okay, that's fair.
The 408 CheyTac is a very highly engineered long-range ballistic capability. Almost second to none when it comes down to purpose-built. Built specifically for a specific purpose. Not discounting the cost. I did a little bit of work with the CheyTac when I ran the 5th Group Sniper Locker when they first came out.
And then the 416 came out.
Yeah, the 416 came out. But at the time, the 416 was close to ballistic equal to the 408. 416 was built to work in the Barrett rifle. The 408 was built around the CheyTac rifle. Is built as a system. It did everything they said that it would do, should do, could do, ballistically, because it was purposely engineered. We did, run a couple of systems. This might have been either before or during Somalia. But still, at the time, the cost to us was it just didn't work out for us because you had to have specific ammunition, specific rifle, and we always believe in if we're running a system, let's say the Barrett 82 M107, and you ran out of your match rounds or you ran out of your Rolfers rounds. You could always de-link ammo from a 50 cal Mod Deuce. The CheyTac, you couldn't do that. But when you're not in a special operations combat situation and you're a shooter, let's say you're over there in Danish land and you want to shoot, muffin sheep at 2,500 meters or across the veld or across the fjord, or something like that, and you got the crazy dollars, go for it, man. Send us pics,
The 408 came out when, right when long-range shooting was being revisited from a scientific standpoint. Me and Jay and Steve, we all went to the SF sniper course back in the day when it was called SOTIC, Special Operations Target Interdiction Course. And they changed it, they modified it and everything, but as my career started winding down, about the start of the global war on terror, we had guys like Todd Hodnett and all these other guys that started saying, all right, hey, let's start revisiting shooting at extremely long distances. And hence the birth of the 408, the 416, but also your 338 Lapua. And
338 normal mag these days.
Now the 338 Lapua was king for a long time, but before it got to be fielded, it was proven that the 300 Norma was far superior. It was. It it grouped better at distance than the 338 Lapua, with the added benefit of the 338 Norma, basically same casing. You're able to deliver a awesome heavy projectile that they can do Rothfuss rounds in 338 Norma for barrier penetration, those cockpit windows on aircraft, penetrating bank windows, stuff like that. But then you neck that massive casing down to a 300 Norma projectile, same amount of gunpowder, but now you've got a 300 Norma projectile, smaller diameter than your 338, and it's just same weight as a 338 Lapua projectile, but it's more accurate at distance. Now, we're at another point in history where they're doing the next jump forward, and that is with calculating the actual atmospheric effects. Understand, we are at the point right now where extreme long-range shooting is no longer 1 mile. It was 1 mile. That's what it always was. I am in the 1 mile club. I'm not on a person. I knocked a steel plate down, a LaRue C-zone target in Gillette, Wyoming. You can go to dnlsports.com and pull up the 1 mile club, and you'll see a picture of me there. I leave out the part that it took me 4 rounds to knock it down.
Yeah, leave that out.
I leave that out. But I did hit the 1 mile. That's nothing anymore. That's nothing. They're doing 3,000, 4,000 yard shots now. How? Because you can't understand. By the time you read trace at all the different distances, it's already changed closer in. So they're actually at the point now where they're sending drones out every 400 or 500 meters, a row of drones, and they park, and all they do is they feed you environmental factors. And now understand, from a tactical standpoint, that's kind of drawing a straight line straight to your hide site, by the way. But you're now capable of engaging cavemen at 4 miles away. It's fun. I got it. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about it. I want to learn more about it. I do. But understand at that distance, at 4 miles away, Jay, as the team sergeant, doesn't have to ask Steve, the sniper, to shoot that far. Jay's got to ask the commo guy, hey, can you have a F-16 put a 500-pound JDAM on him? And it'd be like, roger that. They got 4 of them and they're bored. And that 500-pound satellite-guided bomb is, even if it misses by 6 feet, who cares? You got the guy. You got him. So
I'll give you a good example.
Is what it is.
An actual combat situation. My team isolated to go into Iran to take out silkworm missiles. And during this whole process of isolation, where you do your mission planning, we basically were directed that we were going to use a Barrett 50 cal rifle to take out the key launching components of the silkworm transport system. And keep in mind, we're going in by Halo. When we came back to the brief back, where we're briefing the commander, this is the mission, this is how we're going to insert this, go through all that step by step for you Marines. That's kind of like a tactical exercise without troops. And during the brief back, when I was briefing, taking out the fire control system, they said, okay, so you never mentioned the Barrett 50 cal rifle, and you're going to shoot from 1,800 yards and everything. I said, well, sir, we're not using the Barrett 50 cal rifle to take out that firing component on that silkworm missile in a denied area like Iran. I said, I'm using a Dragon. And everything stopped. And the guy said, wait a minute, this is a sniper mission. A Dragon is an anti-armor missile. I'm like, yeah, hello, 50 cal, atmospheric things. They got all this stuff to figure out. They got bad guys running on the thing. A Dragon, I fire it, I stay on the site, the missile flies, stay on it. Kind of like, this is my minigun sound, it's a Dragon sound. Wham! It's gone.
A Dragon is so Steve's dating himself. A Dragon is the 80s and 90s equivalent of the javelin missile that people use now.
Except the Dragon was wire guided. And the javelin
it had
is
little
not.
rockets, little retro rockets
and
on
the
the
little
side,
rockets go
and they moved it around left, right, up and down. So
up and
it
down.
did make
Yeah.
popping. I actually got to
Yeah.
shoot one of those live in Korea. I did,
Yeah.
and it blew up about 40 feet out of the tube, and
Not good.
knocked me on my ass. Gets better.
That would happen.
Yeah, because I'm sitting on the ground. You know, I had the fold out bipod.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there on the ground, and we're driving down. We're doing a demo, and that toes were shooting overhead. We drive down the Jeep, and I had the Katusha.
He's dating himself.
Yeah, the Katusha shooting the M60. You drive down the end of the road, and my job was to jump out, fire the Dragon, while the TC lobbed 2 or 3 grenades, and the Katusha shot the M60. As I'm driving, as soon as she started shooting, I realized I didn't put my earplugs in.
Wow.
And you know how loud that 60 is.
Oh, yeah.
You know how low
Oh,
the
my
Dragon
God.
is,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, God.
I'm like, all right, so he stopped shooting, and I've got all these hot 308 casings laying everywhere. So I'm like, well, I'll grab 2 casings. I stuck 308 casings in each ear, not realizing
The
they're
hot cases.
they're warm.
Hot cases.
But the bad part is that now amplifies, it actually catches more sound and
that's
funnels
quite a
it
cool
right
story.
in. So I get out there and set up the tripod, and I got my casing sticking out of my ears, and literally shot at a Connex out there at 800 meters, little Connex. And that son of a gun went out about 40 meters, blew up, knocked me on my butt, and yeah, my ears are still ringing. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, I actually got a question that came in.
Just real quick.
Okay, real
But
quick.
what I'm talking about by telling the commander that we were going to use a Dragon as our sniper system to take out this Silkworm missile launch system is everybody talks about long range. Carl talks about the 1 mile club, 2 mile club, 5 mile club, drones, GPS, Doppler radar. Sometimes you have to think outside of the box. You know, it's not always going to be, oh, I have people ask me all the time, Steve, you do really well when you deer hunt. I want to go out with you so I can shoot a deer at long range. I like to shoot a deer where I can kill him in a quick way that he doesn't suffer, and I'll harvest a good deer. It doesn't matter the range, people.
Yeah.
It's the mission. Be successful. I got to shoot 1,500 meters.
I got a question here for Jay.
Okay.
What was Jay's job on your A team? Can he talk about his background? All right, so this is Jay Johnson.
The third.
The third. Jay, you want to talk about ODA 536?
That was a good time.
It was a great time.
That's when I met Carl, the body mechanic at that time. I was the 18 Bravo, so I was this. Well, I guess Mark Jackson was the senior.
Mark Jackson
Bravo
was the
he had me
senior.
by race, but that's a story another told. But Carl and I.
You were the real weapons guy.
Yeah, but I learned from you.
And I learned from you. Yeah.
Carl and I got in a big argument on a raid, believe it or not. Yeah, we were in the support position, and I was firing a 240 machine gun. Carl was my eyes to get me to lift.
It was assault.
No, it was a 240.
240, okay.
And you're my eyes to lift and shift as the assault team was coming across. Well, Carl kept preaching to me, "Hey, let me fire this M24." And I was like, "No, it's not our job. It's not our job. We're to keep the enemy down." Well, we actually had targets on the objective for the live fire. And finally, to appease Carl, you were like, "I'll put balloons up on the targets." I think we had 5 targets. And I said, "Okay, put up your damn balloons." So we went down there on an iteration. We taped up the balloons. Carl's like, "Okay, I'm going to fire for 15 seconds. Then I'm going to come off the gun." And what did I have? I probably had an 800, 1,100 round belt that we had. And so, remember, in the previous iterations, I would shoot, and you're getting a beating zone. What we were shooting, probably at about 600 meters. Mm-hmm. So we had a pretty good beating zone, and I might get 2 or 3 rounds in on the E-types. And I mean, you're just cranking along on a 240. Well, so we come on in with Carl's
suggestion. What does a 240 sound like?
I'm not gonna go there. The thing was, and the learning point was, Carl sat up there with his 24, shot for 15 seconds, took out every single balloon. And what we came away from, and I'm an old dog at that time, had come out of the 82nd, Ranger qualified, I'm a big infantryman, I thought I knew everything. And I learned a new trick there. It's like, as you said, I'll put that, say there's a crew served weapon on the objective, I'll put that gunner down and no one will pick that weapon up again. You just keep the rest down. And so from that time forward, we kind of had the difference of explaining designated marksman, because there isn't really a sniper mission. Designated. No. And we never went on any team. I mean, you had moved on. You were doing different things. In 2003, I was on a strategic reconnaissance team. Every one of our vehicles, there were scoped optics.
Yeah.
You do not leave without it in how we use it. So that's sitting there in some mighty high winds getting dope.
I appreciate you sharing a little bit of humble pie there, Jay. That's awesome. No, guys, I learned so much from Jay, too. Just being flexible with Indige, guys. I would get stuck teaching medical classes in NBC, and Jay, I think you were supposed to be teaching mortars someday or one day, and then we went out to the range and they all show up with RPGs or some shit, and Jay's like, I guess I'm doing RPGs today, and he just flowed with it. He didn't miss a beat, and Jay always accomplished the mission.
We all did. And we had a good time when we did that BRM for the Kuwaiti Army.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, the Kuwaitis would sit there and say, well, this weapon's bad. Remember that?
Yeah.
Throw the weapon down. And we knew we had made progress when the Rakeb came on over and he picked up the weapon, looked at it, fired 3 shots, put him center mass, because we had trained him, and he threw the weapon down and told the kid he was foolish. But,
says, I jumped the Dragon missile jump pack static line once. Bear in mind that I'm 5 foot 4 inches tall, spun like a top, and had twists all the way down to my risers. Cut away!
No.
Cut away!
Funny
Good
stuff.
for you. Glocks are for kids.
Glocks are for kids. That's Robin. Robin was, when we first got the group, I don't know if you remember, there was a Hey-Ho accident. Yeah. Somebody broke his back.
Yeah.
It was a weapons guy.
Yeah.
That's Robin. She is to this day paralyzed from the waist down. Robin, I hope your shoulder is healing up well, which kind of sucks if you're in a wheelchair and you only got one arm, right? So
that's Glocks are for kids?
Yeah, Glocks are for kids. That's Robin. Yeah, she lives down in Nashville.
She jumped a Dragon pack? Missile jump pack?
Yes, she was on one of the 3rd Battalion ODAs back then.
Okay.
See, Robin, you just confused the living shit out of Steve Holland.
I'm not confused.
No.
I'm accepting.
Robin's confused, and we love you, Robin. I love you. See, Robin thinks this is funny as shit because she's out of the closet, and I love Robin. Robin's awesome. All right. The guy had a question about, he's using his plate carrier a lot, especially for tactical games and shooting classes. He wants to know how, and this is DH, best way to get the mileage out of his ATS plate carrier. One, if you want to save your good plate carrier, buy a cheap one for the game so you don't tear it up. Me, personally, I want to use my good kit, and there's no real good way to keep yourself from wearing out your plate carrier. There's just not. So use it, and then when you wear it out, literally send it back into them. Have them replace the Velcro on it. But I've got plate carriers that I ran overseas that I could wear today, and they've got hundreds of combat ops and training ops, and they're fine. They are fine.
I've never worn one out.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, going here. Sherry Champagne threw down 5 bones. Carl, period. During Patreon, if we aren't able to shoot wild pigs, do you think the ranch will let us shoot some cattle with the 50 cal or spear one? Sherry, you just pissed away that $5 bill. I don't even know why I read it. Okie Precision, 2 bones. Congratulations on your daughter's graduation. My daughter just graduated from UK. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Heather Fly Fishes.
Heather.
$9.99. Heather's from Alaska. She says, Jay, please tell us a funny Carl story. I'm a nice guy.
So we used to call... No.
Jay, you new to this. Before Jay begins, Jay is the one Heather Fly Fishes referred to from Carl where Jay wanted the fly feathers,
remember,
and he brought Jay a cardinal.
I brought you the cardinal, put it in the freezer.
This is the Jay
that's the
Carl was talking about.
For
now you can proceed.
Tying flies.
I'm the one always asking for turkey feathers. Yeah. So, it's like, what do you mean you don't want to give me your tail? No, I tell you a funny Carl story. So on the team, Carl was kind of had a reputation of not being a medic, but a body mechanic. He used to say things like, it's the patient's job to manage pain. So you didn't have a lot of sympathy for us. But when we were getting vaccinated, which would have been his normal responsibility, make sure vaccines were up, Carl had a little body fat test that he used to do. So if he could grab a little bit of your pooch, and of course I have a lot nowadays, but
back in the day,
if you thought you had too much back in the day, you got your shots in your gut. So I've seen a lot of guys he can't really do that. I said, well, he just did. So stand up there, either lose the weight or shut up, because he thought some guys were carrying too much adipose tissue.
All right, now in my defense, here's why I did that. IM shots, intramuscular. You put them into the deltoid muscle, okay? Intramuscular. Your SC, subcutaneous, underneath the skin, supposed to be in the fat. Now, what they would do is they would pinch, and you're supposed to give them in the back of the arms in the fat. The problem with SF guys is, while we're all fat rat bastards right now, back in the day, these guys were all cut up. They did not have any fat on the back of their arms. But because we also were on Halo teams and we had a little bit of gristle, for subcutaneous shots, it's supposed to be in the fat. The intent of it is for it to absorb slowly, not absorb into your blood like an IM would be. All right, so
he did it just to make life miserable for him.
Okay, that's fair.
Well, I won't say his name. I won't call him on out. But another time in IV training, there was a particular team member we did not have a lot of joy for, and two of them, if I remember right, because. One, we lost the one. He was killed in PI.
Yeah.
But he was not a good IV. He was kind of a caveman on everything.
The boy
shaking like that to give an IV. And the real target of the whole thing was somebody we definitely didn't like. And Carl decided, nope, you're going to give the IV on top of the foot. Take your boot and sock off. And I have never heard a man whine, scream, squeal. I mean, not even real casualties. I've never heard anyone jump around like that.
Hydrostatic pressure. Understand the pressure of a fluid in the bottom of the swimming pool is got more pressure than right near the top of the surface of the swimming pool. Makes sense, right? Same thing with the human body. Your vessels up here have much thinner walls than the ones in your feet because fluid weight is heavier on your feet. So all these pretty veins that you've got, your intern vein and everything, the ones on the top of your foot have much thicker walls. It's kind of like sticking a radiator hose with an IV needle. Oh, it hurts. He
can tell you all the technical crap he wants to. It must be surrounded by nerves. I don't recommend it.
Painful.
And I'll close with one funny Carl story. So when we used to go to Kuwait, there were a lot of wrecked Iraqi vehicles, a whole graveyard there. But anywhere you drove around in the early days, right after the war, Desert Storm, there were plenty of vehicles throughout the country. Carl used to have his little sniper data book, which was about that damn thick. And anytime you'd be driving around, and I would try and drive most of the time because he's a wild man when he's in a Suburban, but that's just that. We're always stopping at the weirdest damn places for the weirdest. What are you doing? Well, I've never been on one of those, an MTLB. I got to measure those road wheels.
I had to measure around. My little blue tape measure. Remember that
little tape measure everywhere you go. So it's just Carl drop it off to measure something.
You guys come into the Tactical Precision Rifle course. It's the last day of May, first day of June in Tiger Valley in Texas. I bring that data book. I still have it to this day.
Real data.
I bring that data book along with my other ones from the Joff and Fallujah. But I bring those data books just to literally show you guys. I practice what I preach. I really, really do. So, I forgot all about that, Jay.
Well, do you remember shooting after we had the students that were shooting at the, wherever the 36th Commando or in Kuwait. on that range.
Yeah.
And of course, the winds would always kick up in the afternoon. We're probably shooting at 20 mile per hour, full value winds. I'm like with a 308 of all damn things. And it's like, what the hell are we back even trying this for at 800? But you're sitting there, no, I got to get 2 more shots. And because we had the whole range to just you and I. I mean, we could stay there till night. So we did.
That was always a good time, man. It was always a good time.
Well, that's when we implemented doing snaps and movers on the team with M4s.
Yeah.
Iron sights. And
I remember that, yeah.
Everyone thought we were kind of crazy. And one of the sad things in the Army is they don't teach iron sights the way I think they should.
Yep. I agree.
I'm still confused. I'm going back to this question from Rob. Robin, you say Robin.
Robin.
He sent a reply. He said, "Hey Steve, I was on ODA 554, and 554 was one of the teams that I was on. So I'm trying to."
Who'd you spoon with in that hide site?
I don't recall spooning with anybody that was 5'4". I'm trying to.
It might not have been the same year, Steve, but it might have.
This is true. It probably wasn't.
The 3 gotta snuggle more. We need you back in frame. All right. They want us to. Jay, you gotta pull your junk in a little more, a little closer.
Jay is fully in frame.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, salute out to you, brother. You was on 554. 554 was my last ODA before I took over the group S7, S8 job, Force Mod, which I stayed there for the next 12 years until I got out, because that was right before 9/11 happened. I don't know when you was on 5-4. I mean, if you say, hey, this is my name and this, then yeah, I got it. But I'm trying to picture somebody on the team that was 5'4", and that was.
Understand?
Okay, you were on 5'4" and you were 5'4".
5'4".
Or is that just a pun to the fact that you were on a team called 5'4"?
All right. Here's the deal. Leaf LeBlanc threw down $5. Just wanted to say congratulations to Bella, you and Miss Dana on her graduation. That's awesome. And then he said, great stream tonight. Rangers lead the way. Leaf LeBlanc actually got his mustard stain jumping in with the Anger Battalions in the Panama. He came back. Okay. And last March, he came and jumped with me and my son with the round canopy parachute team down in Florida. Oh, guys, if you have not, if you've always wanted to be airborne, or you got dark clouds closing in on you and you're in a bad way, or you've got substance abuse, whatever, you just need to see things through different eyes. RCPTUSA.org, Round Canopy Parachute Team USA.org, because there's one for France, there's one for the Netherlands, everywhere. But these guys jump into Normandy every year for the D-Day reenactment. But the big thing is they run an airborne school every March, every October. I go every March, every October. I will be there this year. If you come for the first time, I'll put you through airborne school with the other Black Hats. I told myself I would never jump again. I've got 400 plus Halo jumps, never had to pull my reserve, never wanted to do it again. But my son wanted to do it. And I said, all right, bet I'm there. They run, I'm here to tell you, I learned more in their Jumpmaster refresher, and I learned more watching them do the airborne school for the small group of civilians than I did my whole time in the military. They run a very professional product. The one they just did in March has a World War II theme, so we jumped from the C-47 Tycho Bell. It's the twin engine one. That plane actually made the drop on Normandy and Market Garden. They roll it out of a museum a couple times a year to do things like that. So anyways, Leaf came and jumped with us. He couldn't do this last March because he had bad flooding at his home, and he's hurting financially right now. But Leaf, again, dude, thank you for your service. You're awesome, and I'm hoping you can make it to the Patreon event this year. It's going to be an awesome.
Make the Patreon event, Leaf.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome event this year. That was Leif LeBlanc. LeBlanc.
1991, 1992 Hey-Ho accident was in November 1992.
Bear in mind, I'm 5 foot tall. Spun like a top. That's she's back. Hey, Steve, I was on. Her name was Robert then. Bob. Smiley face crying. Smiley face crying. That's right, guys. You're right. Here we are on the internet, and I just let it out for the whole world to see that Robin used to be Rob on a Halo team. And you know what? I don't care. I don't care. I could care less about your political affiliations. I could care less about your religions. I could care less that you're plaid or black or whatever. Hell, I didn't realize Steve was black until about 3 years ago.
I'm black? I'm black?
No, he's also a white supremacist, according to all the liberals out there. Steve and Jay have always been my green brothers. So, Robin, you know the deal. You're my brother also. You're just a freaking nutbag.
I'm trying to think. Is
she my brother now, or is she my sister?
Glock for kids.
Sister.
Is Robin.
No, I'm sorry, Robin. You know the deal.
1990.
We talk shit in the team room.
1991, 92. I was running the sniper locker, so I would not have been on 5'4" at that time.
Yeah.
I went from 5'4" on an 825, ran the sniper locker for 4 years into
she's down in Murfreesboro. We gotta have her on the live stream now.
Okay.
She go to
17 May.
Storm?
17 May.
17 May, Robin.
Outpost Armory.
The 17 May, and this for all the rest of you that live within 5 hours driving in Nashville, Tennessee. 17 May.
Next Tuesday.
The Outpost Armory. Is that next Tuesday?
Yeah, it's next Tuesday.
Holy shit. Next Tuesday, we are going to be doing this live stream from the Outpost Armory that's owned by the Barretts.
Exit 80, Murfreesboro on I-24.
Murfreesboro. Robin, you need to roll your slap happy ass in there, and we'll have you on the live stream with Chris and Ronnie Barrett and Steve Holland.
Featuring the celebration of Ronnie Barrett and Barrett Firearms Manufacturing Incorporated 40 years. 40
years, guys.
Hosted by
the M82.
Hosted by Mr. Tactical Rifleman, Kinetic Energy, Carl Erickson, co-hosted by Miss Amber D.
Who's Amber D again?
Amber D is Amber D. That's like saying who's Carl Erickson.
That's code for smoking hot. That's all I can figure.
I assume that,
I've never met him. Never met him.
Do you know the Ronnie story?
I'm sorry?
Do you know the Ronnie story?
No.
The Ronnie Barrett story?
Yeah, how we got...
That will be something that we will discuss on
17
May.
I'll try and make
as we celebrate 40 years of Barrett Rifles with Mr. Ronnie Barrett, with Mr. Kinetic Energy, Tactical Rifleman Carl Erickson, co-hosted by Miss Amber D.
And Steve
the awesome firearms industry representative.
There we go.
Along with possibly Mr. Pete Lockwood and Mr. John Rich. Pending.
Do you think John Rich is coming to... Steve, who did you not invite? Jerry J threw down another $5. Some stuff shouldn't be touched, Steve, like ODA was wearing UCP Universal Camouflage Pattern in Afghanistan. Smiley face crying. Jerry, these are not the droids you're looking for.
Jerry,
we love Jerry.
Jerry, some things that Danish people do
he's checked.
Doesn't come across.
He's checked.
Check.
He's checked.
That's even worse.
That's even worse.
Some things
you can say that out loud.
Czech people say with the smiley face, crying face, doesn't quite compute in my brain. So what do you mean some things in UCP, Afghanistan?
I'm sorry, guys. We got Steve wound up early. Understand, Steve brought a designated driver tonight. He's not even drinking.
Didn't I? Oh, shit.
Elevated Agenda threw down 10 bones. Can I buy these guys dinner after your class on 15 July? Actually, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Guys, what he's talking about is July. For those of you that are not coming to the pistol carbine courses and the medical class this week, we're doing them again in July. 13th is the medical course, and then pistol course, and then pistol carbine again in July. Again, that'll be at Montgomery County Shooting Complex. Yeah, there's a night shoot on first day of the carbine class. It's a 2-day carbine course. There's a night shoot that first night, but other than that, we usually go do dinner at like the local Mexican restaurant or whatever. You're more than welcome to pay. I have no problem letting people buy me dinner. No problem at all. All right, we're running low on questions, guys.
I'm still trying to recall a Hay-Ho accident in 1991-92.
All right, real quick, while you guys are coming up with more questions for us, I want to mention this Friday's video, because you guys say, hey, Carl, give us an opinion. The new hotness, you guys like the new hotness? Come on, Jay, come snuggle. The new hotness is 30 super carry. You almost got to have the echo going. 30 super carry. Basically what it is let's say you've got your subcompact pistol single stack, like a Glock 43, for example. It'll only hold, let's say 9 shells or 8 shells. In 9mm. Now, even going with a 380, understand a 380 is the same diameter as a 9mm. So by going with a smaller bullet gunpowder wise, you're not getting more rounds. So 30 super carry is basically, it's 30 caliber. So you're looking 7.6mm. Smaller than 9mm, so you can actually get more rounds. So instead of it being an 8-round magazine, you now have a 10-round magazine. Guys, that doesn't sound like much, but that's a 25% increase in the capacity of that subcompact pistol. Okay, so what? Why not just shoot 5.7, right? So I tried it out. So anyways, this Friday's video comes out here in a few days. Today being Tuesday, comes out Friday. We did 9mm versus 30 super carry. We shoot ballistic gel with it, and we used federal HST rounds, which is the standard for law enforcement as far as expanding hollow points. And the selling point is that it does not recoil more, and you can carry more rounds, similar performance. I'm here to tell you, and you'll see in the video, it recoils less than 9mm, and honest, I thought it performed much better in the ballistic gel block. So not going to do a spoiler alert, but that is this Friday's video. Will it catch on? Maybe, maybe not. It might be like the next 45 gap and be here for a while and then go away. You never know. You never know, Jay. What's new with your life, Jay?
Not much.
Where are you working at now?
I work at Flyer. Well, I'm a contractor for Flyer Defense.
Flyer Defense, which is General Dynamics still?
No, that's an independent company.
Okay.
They're the ones that own or designed the new SOCOM vehicle.
Yep. All right, so if you guys aren't familiar with the Flyer, what are they called, the 1.1, stuff like that?
GMV 1.1, it's an M1288.
Yeah. M1288, I got no idea what that means. But if you look back here, this is a picture of my A-team in the JOF 2004. That is your typical DMV, a desert mobility vehicle. A lot of you guys call them Humvees. We call them a Hummer. And Jay knows all about the mods and everything. Jay is who I consider subject matter expert for mobility operations. And so that...
We kind of went different ways.
We did. When I went to the SIF company to do direct action, Jay went to mobility.
And strategic reconnaissance.
Strategic reconnaissance. Yeah. Now, what do I mean by that? Think back Desert Storm, think back World War II, the British SAS, the Pink Panthers, the desert teams that they would roll around in their little jeeps, or rat patrols. We actually used to have the SAS guys come down to 5th Group to talk desert mobility. Fast forward, after the shit that Jay's guys did during, as far as getting ready to go back into Iraq, they took all the lessons learned from World War II with the desert rats and all the stuff that they developed themselves, new technology. The British SAS were actually coming to pick these guys' brains. And a good example of it is Saddam, and Jay he doesn't toot his own horn, but when we did the initial invasion of Iraq, I understand Air Force and everything, everybody doing this, that, and the other, but there were places where the SF teams rolled across the desert and there was not an Iraqi looking for them at all, because what they had was this massive tank ditch that a tank couldn't get through this ditch. There's no way a truck could get through this ditch. It could not be done. So they had huge patches of desert where nobody was watching them. They just weren't watching because nobody could get through it. It was an obstacle, man-made obstacle that you could not get through. Jay and his guys, you saw it on CNN. It was footage of them shot with night vision. They're in their night vision goggles and they got their desert mobility vehicles and they're out there with shovels and doing all. Damned if they didn't get their vehicles through there, punched through, and went out scud hunting and everything else. And I didn't do anything in the initial invasion of Iraq. I mentioned the Sig Sauer mission, but after that, I did a jaunt up into Baghdad. I hit a few palaces and did absolutely nothing strategic, nothing tactically defining at all. The only people that got a Bronze Star was my company commander and Sergeant Major. They put themselves in for it. They said, well, you guys, Carl, you got your Bronze Star in Afghanistan. I'm like, motherfucker, you didn't do anything. We just did all this. And they didn't even give me a dental appointment. But they all got Bronze Stars. But Jay and his mobility guys, literally, nobody on the planet, even tanks couldn't mess with these guys. They couldn't mess with them. You guys were awesome.
Oh.
So Jay won't toot his own horn. Slide over, Jay.
Slide let me get in here. Speaking of that.
Here we go.
Speaking of that. And Heather that fly fishes, don't let me forget to have Jay tell you one of the fly fishing stories. But let's talk about Jay, the desert rat. We gotta have you tell the story of the one-man army with the javelin.
No.
The one-man army with the javelin.
That was not my team.
All right, but real quick, guys, one of you just asked, is Jay the guy that did the Hummer video with me years back where we
Military
went toward
Systems Group.
The Mill Systems Group in Nashville.
Yep.
Yes, Jay and I did that complete walkthrough. He is, I'm not joking, he is the subject matter expert for desert mobility.
To give you an example of how great Jay is on mobility, okay? 5th group, we used to have what we called a master training program, master trainer free fall, master trainer sniper. I was a master trainer sniper for about 12 years. Master trainer mobility. We had two top dogs in a mobility unit, okay? It was Ray Brady and Mike Cooney, okay? When we started the group S5, S7, S8 Force Modernization Shop, we have the areas of communication, C4.
With you, some more,
you got target engagement, which is all your weapon stuff. Then you got soldier systems, which is body armor, everything else, flat dark earth, Coyote Brown, SFLCS. And you have mobility. Well, in this office, the top dogs were target engagement, which me, and then mobility. So Mike Cooney was the man, but he didn't want to come into the shop to run mobility for all 54 A teams. He wanted to manage his teams on Charlie 2-5. So I went to the group, Sergeant Major, and the group commander said, we got to bring Mike Cooney in. We brought Mike Cooney in, which is really good, because then 911 kicked off. So Mike Cooney retires, and they say, hey, we're not going to give you anybody else. You know, you got to manage mobility in your shop by yourself. So I did manage it. I managed 0. I didn't do squat. Hey, this is for mobility. Put it over there on that desk. This is for mobility. Put it on that desk. About 6-7 months later, they called me in and said, hey, what the fuck's going on with mobility? That's just people are calling from USASOC and USAFIC and USOCOM. Nobody's showing up for the meetings. Nobody. I said, I don't have anybody. So about 2 weeks later, they go, hey, we got you a guy. Got you a guy. The next best thing to Ray Brady, Mike Cooney, James Donald Johnson III.
There we go.
I said, okay, let's go to work. Clear his desk. Give me some Open those files up so when he can look at me when I'm talking to him. So a week goes by, 2 weeks goes by, 4 weeks go by, 5 weeks go by. I'm like, where's this Jay Johnson guy? And not knowing that he told me later, he said, Steve, you put me through sniper school. I was like, Jay, I don't remember. He said, but I do. He said, have that student right there that think he's hidden, have him stand up and start again. Another story. So I get this knock on the door one day. I get this knock on the door one day. I'm like, yeah, come on in. I'm doing my stuff, handling files and talking. He's like, hey, Sergeant Holland, I'm Sergeant Johnson. I was like, hey, Sergeant Johnson, how you doing? He goes, no, I'm the Sergeant Johnson. I go, this is 5th group. There's like 1,100 guys in this unit. A bunch of them named Johnson.
Bunch of Johnsons. Johnson. A bunch
of Johnsons. Oh, no, I'm Johnson, your new mobility NCO. Oh, snap! Jay Johnson? Let me see, wait a minute. James Donald Johnson III. Well, welcome aboard. Well, Sergeant, I only stopped by to let you know I'm going on an emergency leave for 30 days. Bye. And that's my first time meeting Jay Johnson. He stopped by for 3 minutes after I waited 5 weeks for him to show up.
Nick was born.
And then
he was screaming.
He said, Sergeant, I just stopped by to let you know I'm your mobility NCO and I'm going on emergency leave for 30 days. I'll be back in a month. Bye. That's how I met James Donald Johnson III.
I came back.
Which baby was it?
Nick.
Number 6.
One graduating here a week after
his son, I didn't know it at the time, but his son was born premature. Mm-hmm. And, once I found out, I said, hey, this Sergeant Johnson.
Good Catholic family. How many kids you got?
6.
And his number 6
kids
was born early. And I found this out when I called over. I said, hey, this guy you told me about, supposed to be here 5 weeks ago, shows up, said, hey, how you doing? I'm going on leave for 30 days. I said, I'm not tracking on this. He said, oh, well, didn't he tell you? I said, no, he didn't. He just like, hey, sorry, blah, 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 blah. But actually, you did, for a little bit. I'm just making fun of you. So but then Jay stayed with me when I retired.
8 years.
For 8 years. In the same shop. I was there for 12 years. I was there 4 years before Jay got there. I was there for 5 years. Then Jay became my replacement.
I was going to say, you then dumped all that shit on Jay's desk.
Yeah, I did.
That's why I retired.
you know what he told me? So I'm running this shop for 12 years. Jay comes in about year 7. We go into 911. No, this is after, because Jay was over with Kazai when the movie 12 Strong should have been 13 Strong with Randy. And so I say, Jay, I'm going, man. I come back from a trip one day. My desk is cleaned out. My keyboard doesn't have Subway crumbs in it anymore. And they said, hey, we pack your stuff, Steve. I said, what's going on? I said, man, you got to go. I go, what are you talking about? They said, see that calendar you marked with red that you're going to start out process? He said, you're 6 months behind. I said, oh, shit, I got to go. So Jay takes my place. Jay said, I got this ship, Captain. You can go be a landlubber. A couple of years later, Jay texted me, said, man, I want to tell you before I tell anybody else. I said, what, Jay? He goes, I'm retiring. I said, retiring? You took my place. You're supposed to be. He goes, Steve,
I ain't doing this.
I ain't doing this shit.
All right, I got a question here for Jay. This is from chemistry student.
Okay.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? See the kind of dumb-ass jackassery I got to deal with? Chemistry student, you know better than that, dude.
Question.
Really?
That's a good question, because as soon as
No. How about no?
That's a good tactical question, too.
Okay.
What's a good running password? Hot dog, sandwich. No, pow.
I'll tell you what. I got a package over there for Steve, but before I open it, I get packages all the time. Literally, I get new optics and stuff. And the cool part is, a lot of times you guys send me coffees. This is from Frontier Coffee Company. Ooh. This is Zulu Roast. For the benefits go to the Green Beret Foundation.
Zulu. Is that like Zulu Shaka Zulu?
Or
Zulu
like
18 Zulu?
18
I have to
Zulu.
ask the question. I have to ask.
Frontier Coffee is a 18 Zulu.
Carl, I kind of figured that out where it says Green Beret Foundation.
Yeah, but I mean,
blah, blah, blah.
He is a National Guard guy now. He's out near Bragg, I think.
Is he 5'4"?
Something like that. That said, the coffee I'm drinking tonight, because everybody wants to know, is 5 Stone Frontline coffee. This guy actually roasts here in Kentucky. He's a great, great guy, and this is the Frontline Espresso roast. And if 5 Stone, if you're in the chat room, I just want to let you know this is my last bag. This is the last one I got. This is the last one. So
stop your wine.
I got a little bit in the hopper up in the kitchen, and then I got just this one. No, you guys send me a lot of great stuff, and I want you guys to know I appreciate it. So anyway, real quick,
1 bottle of wine.
I want to give credit where credit goes. I actually got a replacement candidate for the Patron XO Cafe. You know, that's a tequila with the coffee.
That. I had 1 bottle of wine.
It's in there.
13 bottles of Patron, and he was crying
XO
on the last
Cafe.
show.
Anyways, this guy.
13 bottles, Jay. I'm talking about.
His name's Ken, but his handle.
They're
not all leaders. They're not all leaders. They're not. He goes by Jesus H. Christ in the chat room. So Jesus H. Christ, if you're watching, I did get the candidate. I'm not opening it up yet because I have riffraff here that I don't want to share it with. Okay, so
but he'll drink my 1 bottle of wine.
But Ken, thank you so much for sending it. I will let you know. The other one is Tom Nagel. Tom, I'm not going to read your message, but he actually had a question in here which pertains to these guys. How important, he had a question, he went on a nice note and everything. He asked if I had a great time off-roading. But his question is, how important is barrel break-in? I've seen different opinions on the subject and want to know your opinion. We actually talked about this the other day. I'll let Steve.
I told that story.
What?
You wasn't here.
We did cover this last time. We did.
No, we covered heavy barrel.
That's what it was. Heavy bite.
And in regards to the person that asked that question, I was a little bit off my track. But in addition to heavy barrel in regards to heat dissipation, it also has effect on barrel harmonics.
Yeah,
we did
mention harmonics. We did mention barrel.
In that story I talked about where I said Jay Johnson's rifle, his ADL 700, that was all out of the box, 2 boxes of ammo, shot 10 rounds in 20 years.
So bad last week.
And all we did was use. We used hand loaded ammo, 1/10 grain. I mean, measured each round. Bullet run out, so important. Overall length as far as the throat. And I had Jay shoot 3 rounds. And he was like, Steve, I never come in and shoot with you anymore. I said, why, Jay? I enjoy having you out here with me. Well, we was out here for 2 days and you shot 20 rounds. I was like, cold barrel 0, Jay.
Steve, you did that story last Tuesday.
But they didn't know I was talking about Jay.
Yeah, but that's Jay.
So
he's repeating himself already.
Okay, so to the question.
This is Jay.
This is you.
All right. Your opinion on barrel break-in procedures.
I am all about it.
There you go. Now, my opinion
especially
on barrel
after going,
break-in.
that's a cheap gun.
Yeah. On a precision rifle, yes. It is very important to break in the barrel properly. You want to get into how to do it. That's what a lot of people have different ways to do it.
When you say precision rifle,
I don't do it on an AR.
You call Erickson.
I would agree with that.
You call Erickson. You're kinetic energy. You're Mr. Tactical Rifleman. And you're saying, well, on precision rifles. So you're saying that, okay, precision rifle, if I had a brigade, blah, blah, blah rifle or Accuracy International or something that cost me $3K, then I should break the barrel in. It's a precision rifle. Well, the viewers out there who might only have an $800 rifle or a $600, rifle.
If that is your precision rifle, then break it in properly.
I say break it in proproperly.
But not
you said
not your work gun, not my AR. My AR.
I disagree.
See, he wants to. Steve wants you to break in every gun like that. That's fine. I got, and that's your opinion.
But the difference you can say, Carl, is you say every gun like that because not every guy has every gun. To say every gun is to say plural. I have many guns. So if I have every gun I have, which saying I'm having more than one. Okay, what if a guy only has one? but he knows how to use it. Beware the man who owns only one gun. He should break it in. He should break it in.
I'm not breaking in an AR barrel.
An AR is a working rifle.
It's a work gun. It's a work gun.
Do you zero your AR? It's a work gun.
Steve,
do you
this argument will never end.
Steve is now quickly getting into hot dog versus sandwich and his cereal a soup.
Total different thing.
Category.
Total different thing.
Yeah.
An AR is as important as anybody's bolt gun.
No. Precision ARs are just as important.
What ARs are precision?
Guns. An M4.
If you don't want,
you're going to break
if you don't want
an
an AR to be precision, buy a freaking AK-47. Okay.
What about if all the guy has is an AK-47? That's his only rifle.
Okay.
Don't you think he should break that barrel in properly?
Yes, he should. Yes, he should. But don't consider it precision.
But that's the only one he has.
But don't consider it precision because it's not a precise rifle. It's a reliable rifle, but it's not a precise rifle.
Actually, it shoots pretty damn good.
You think so?
The ones in Afghanistan did.
All right.
What's your standard for pretty good, Jay? Minute of angle, minute of rock, minute of gold.
We're getting ready to lose Susan Britcher, our top moderator. She's got to go back to work. Hal Simpson threw down one in April-May timeframe of 1993. Did Johnson teach a bunch of Fast Company Marines protective motorcade operations before they deployed to Mogadishu?
No,
different Johnson. I know all you crackers look alike, but that was a different.
I think you probably remember that one.
No, the only one in '93 that we had with the Marine Corps is we had an Anglico team in that we did some work with.
Yep.
It wasn't that.
All right.
Let's not forget about the javelin story now. Jay, tell the javelin story. Are you
getting ready to go?
No, I'm getting ready. So, guys, y'all say goodbye to Miss Britcher before she leaves. We were going to do a giveaway tonight, guys. You guys want to do a giveaway?
Yeah, let's do a giveaway.
I'm going to save it.
They're listening to us.
We'll save it. We'll save it.
Sure.
We don't have enough likes. If we had enough likes, I might consider it, but we don't have enough likes. Let's do the javelin story.
Yeah. Let's do the javelin story.
Let's do the javelin story.
That was not my team.
Okay.
But it is a funny story. A funny story. Actually, that was Todd's team. Todd
Sonic.
Yeah, I believe.
The man.
They were sitting out in Western Iraq is a flat pancake. You have to go pretty hard to find a wadi in that to hide in. So they're just out on the open, overlooking the city, and a bunch of Iraqis came on out, and they're waving on the back of their technicals, basically whatever pickup trucks they had. And they're like
with crew-served weapons.
Well, they had crew-served, but they were waving at them, and they were looking like, "Hey, we're happy to see you," et cetera, et cetera. I don't know how many days into the war we were in 2003 at that point. But then, of course, they stop. They open up. They're shooting their weapons. They're firing RPGs. All hell breaks loose. Rounds are going up as the team guys tell the story. And I can't remember the name of the guy on the team, but he says, "Hey, I'm going to fire the javelin." And they're like, "Yeah, fire the javelin. Go do your thing." They're returning fire. They've got RPGs. They got RPGs skipping on the rounds because they're just. So, and he said it's just like out of a comic book when you look back at it. He walks on out, he pulls the javelin out, pulls the clue on out. He's reading the instructions, step 1, mount the clue.
The clue is a controlled launch unit.
It's the sight.
It's a sight, the optics, the laser.
And everything. He's like, okay, mount the clue to the javelin, put it on your shoulders, check your back blast area, all clear, acquire the target, acquires the target. Everything's firing both ways. It's basically a two-way machine gun range with RPGs coming at him, and all of a sudden he pops that off. Boom. Well, you can probably see it on the news right now. Javelins go up kind of slow. You can see it with the naked eye. Yeah. And all the shooting stopped. Everyone watched it go on up. And then it gets to max ordnance, and then it comes down, you can't see it, and all of a sudden a truck blows up and vaporizes all the guys there. And the Iraqis are just like, we're done. We're not playing this game. And everyone is like, I wish I could remember his name, because everyone's looking at it and was like, "Hey, Pete, that was a good one." So
I love the part where, because guys, if you don't know this, if you haven't been in the military,
combat jokes.
Combat is Keystone Cops. It really is.
all our systems, except like maybe individual weapons and crucial weapons, most of everything else, the device comes with instructions.
Yeah, like
if you pull out a claymore, the instructions are rolled out on waterproof paper.
That's funny.
He pulls out a javelin, okay, pulls out the control launch unit, and the instructions are right there. He's reading the instructions to himself as rounds are flying all over.
He's reading them out loud.
Out loud. So everybody on the team is like listening to him go through this step by step. You know, and I remember he said to the team sergeant, he said, I'm going to shoot the javelin. Well, shoot the damn thing. Well, first I have to read the instructions. You know, you got to love that, man.
It worked. Open your box. One of my guys sent you a box. One of you guys, one of our live stream asylum members here actually sent Steve Holland a box. That's it, dude.
So while he's opening that,
I'm going to box. Jay, I mean, that's it. Isn't that it?
Yeah.
No, you're all doing the, tactical gun guru guys. I'm an old, like say, mounted SR guy. If you want good reading, actually it isn't the British SAS in World War II. And a lot of the stuff that we use modern day even now is based off of the Long Range Reconnaissance Group, which came before the British SAS. Okay. But there's an interesting thing about the British SAS that probably a lot of people don't know. Well, maybe if you study the history of that. The British SAS destroyed more German aircraft in North Africa than the British Air Force.
Yeah.
Really?
So, yeah.
I didn't know
On
that.
the ground, yeah.
Yeah, on the ground.
On the ground.
Driving in.
Yep.
They first started off with the Long Range Desert Group doing ferry operations, meaning they would carry them up to the target area, they'd drop them off, and then Jeeps became available, so then Sterling said, hey, we're going to do this ourselves. But nowhere near the penetration. Longest vehicle recovery in history, military vehicle recovery in history, was conducted by the Long Range Desert Group. Over 1,100 kilometers through the Sand Sea of southern Libya. Absolutely amazing. A 2.5-ton truck. Just, if you ever want a good read, or if you're in history of World War II, especially North Africa, read anything on Long Range Desert Group is amazing.
Long range.
Long range. The thing I liked about
Desert Group.
The Desert and Long Range Desert Group.
You have a particular book?
Any of them. Actually, if you can get Bagnold was the commander. He has his memoir. That's a good. That used to be a required reading in the unit up in Charlie County. Okay. We also looked at it's funny because if you read that set of data points, let's say, then you go to Desert Storm and you read Sabre Squadron.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of technology updates, with radios and that.
But basically,
but a lot of the things are done very, very similar. And then, you get into 2003, some of that, technology on our side is so... I've always said...
Right now it is. Yeah.
We would not look to have vehicles to... the most dangerous thing you could do out west was have a guy with an antenna and a good set of optics and a mic.
The thing about the British and the SCS and the long range patrols that I love so much is back into the origin of the Pink Panther, when a lot of people didn't realize that there were vehicles during that time period that were painted pink, because pink in the desert at a certain distance will start to blend. It just blends in within desert environment. If you're close to it, you say, hey, they're driving around in a pink Range Rover or pink Range Rover Land Cruiser, whatever they call it. But I love the fact that their crew-served weapons on their vehicles kind of set the precedent for us.
Yeah.
As we started getting into our desert
pulling
fights.
The windshields down and putting
that was reflection. That's a story in Kuwait when we used to train there in between Desert Storm and 9/11. You used to go up by Muzzle Ridge there, and you could sit there and do an observation exercise, and you would tell guys, okay, look at the ridge. The sun's always setting behind you, and say, I want you to count the number of vehicle passes that are coming down off that ridge down onto the plain going into Kuwait City. And they'd sit there with their nods or scopes, and they, and invariably they'd say, well, there's about 5 passing points. Well, how many vehicles are up there? They go back, they'd scan, and say, we see 6 vehicles. Keep watching. And as that sun went down, you would start catching windshield flashes. Mm-hmm. And you would find a new way to come down through Muttler Ridge, and you would start pulling out vehicles. And that's how you really used to solidify, hey, you got to take the windshields out.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, he was a stickler. We used to get into it all the time. Steve, you know what? I'm more like, you know what? I'm tired of this sand blowing him out.
Now, Ray Brady, our company warrant, who's
I'm just so tired of it.
Yeah.
But
right,
okay,
you guys want to do a giveaway?
Open the box.
Okay.
I had to go get my.
Here, you get in and you get there.
I had to go get my letter opener.
Letter opener.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is my letter opener. Where's the box? Stab it.
Don't stab it.
Okay.
This is the first time you've ever used this knife, Steve.
Yes, it is.
All right, this is from Russell Ridge.
Okay.
Now, I have been, full disclosure, I have no idea what's in this, but I have been told this is PG-13, so I'm allowed to have you open this.
Before I even open it, Russell, I want to thank you. Just taking the time out to say, you know what? I'm going to send something to Tactical Rifleman through call to Steve. I appreciate it. Okay. Get the EOD team in here. Bring the bomb blast people in. Okay, let me put on my ballistic glasses. My letter opener.
I'm hoping I don't need iPro for this. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
You need a sharp knife, Steve.
It is a sharp knife. Carl, you said I couldn't stab it, so I wanted to take my time. Dude, this is a cold steel Laredo.
Yeah, I got that.
Sharp.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
No.
All right.
Randy got me started with fixed blades, so more the merrier.
All right.
Never pull a blade towards you. Never pull a blade towards you. Okay? Sharp blade test. It works, Carl.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to put that away before you hurt yourself. That is a nice knife, Steve. That is literally the first time you've ever used that.
Actually, it is.
Yeah, I know.
Not really sure
Put that outside of his arms reach.
Man,
Thank you
good
very
with
much.
that knife like that.
All right, he sent you a card.
Wow. That's different.
White powder, probably anthrax.
Yeah.
With appreciation.
This is who's this? Who's Carl?
You tell me.
Russell Ridge.
Russell Ridge.
Russell Ridge. Russell.
That's the prettiest card he's ever gotten.
Yeah. Kind of scary. Okay.
Oh, snap. He's going to read this on the internet. You want me to screen it first, Steve?
No.
You understand this is a video, and you've at least got to show them something or read it out loud, Steve.
Okay. Okay.
Read it out loud. Read it out
I'm
loud.
going to do that.
Put on your reading glasses.
Okay. It says here, howdy, Steve. And he didn't say it in a Czech accent. It's in an American accent. The best thing about Tactical Rifleman is not the shoot, move, communicate stuff. I don't need to see another El Presidente or Bill drill. Best thing Mr. Kinetic Energy does is introduce us to new and amazing people. Randy, Travis, Emery, all the rest. Cool. And your life's work is second to none. This is to say thank you for your imagination, ingenuity, dedication, determination, humor, and patriotism. Enjoy, sir. Russell. Thank you, Russell. And if you and Carl don't ring the bell, shame on you. You're always ready to step up and help out. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So what is it? Okay.
I don't know, Steve. They don't know. You got to open the box.
Give me my knife. Oh, I know what this is. I don't think we can do this on live stream.
What is it, Steve?
Ooh, darling.
What is it?
Ooh, darling.
Oh, shit.
Ooh, darling. Ooh,
Wow.
darling.
You're right. Bring it up. Let them see it. Hey, will you grab that, please? Steve, down, boy, down,
Spank it.
Steve, down,
Spank it.
down, Steve.
Spank it, daddy.
All right,
Russell.
show them,
Thank
show
you,
them
sir.
what it is. Guys, this is a nice bottle of...
This is a nice vase. This is a vase. This is an empty vase for flowers.
No, it's filled vase of tequila, dude.
Reposado.
Steve's a connoisseur of fine tequila, and this is fine tequila.
I am a connoisseur of breaking in your barrel and fine tequila.
All right, don't forget your cards, Steve.
Can I get some background music? Can I shoot the javelin? Shoot it! Bow! Just going on the way. On the way, Team Sergeant.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. You go crack that open. I'm bringing Jay back in here. Bringing Jay back. Bringing Jay back.
If this was Carl, he would say, "Man, I only got 13 left." I have one bottle of wine which he cracks open and he pours cup for cup.
I have no idea what Steve's talking about. No idea.
Sir Russell, I will share this with my brothers. I will share this with my brothers.
All right, slide over.
And
Jay.
with you.
Jay, come on in.
Me?
All right, here's the deal, guys. Before Susan Bridget takes off, we are going to do a...
Spank it.
We are going to call this at 9:25. We are going to do a giveaway. Now, here's the deal. To enter into this giveaway, you have got to put into the chat room. You can't enter more than 3 times, otherwise the algorithm kicks you out. But it's got to say Jay, spelt J-A-Y. Jay is awesome.
Oh.
All right, that is what gets you entered. Jay is awesome. What are we giving away, Jay?
I don't know.
What do you got? Firstborn, secondborn? Guys, this week you guys have seen my EDC pistol. You guys know I'm big on running a light or light and a laser. But what do I have on my backup? My church pistol that doesn't have a light rail. What I run is it's made by Crimson Trace. It has a light and it has a visible laser. And
y'all know I love my lasers.
This is the Laser Guard right here. It is the Laser Guard Pro. It actually has a green laser and a visible white light. You can turn off the laser, you can turn off the light, you can put it on strobe, all that stuff. This is designed for the Glock 42, 43, 43X, or the Glock 48. This is the one I actually carry on my guns. I have it on my 42 that I don't carry, but in case I got to give it to somebody. But it is on my Glock 43X that I carry, my church pistol, my backup. Brand new, box is completely unopened. This is a gift from Joe the Knife Guy and the good people at Crimson Trace. I did a video review on this probably 4 years ago when it first came out. If you have a pistol without a light rail on it, there is not a better trigger guard mounted laser or light. And this one, unopened. Here's the cool part. Crimson Trace gives you batteries for life. Literally, batteries for life. All you gotta do is call them, say, hey, this is what I got. And it runs off of a CR2 lithium battery. They like to give you one a year. I go through, because I do a lot of night ranges, I go through about 1 a quarter. But I use the light a lot. Remember, I dry fire with this thing every morning 5 times before I pick up my phone, whatever clothes I'm going to be wearing. So anyways, it's made by Crimson Trace. It's the Crimson Trace Laser, let me get it right here, Laser Guard Pro. Yeah, guys, this is
awesome.
Literally what is on my gun. Jay is awesome. All right?
Jay is awesome.
Jay's like, man, Carl, why didn't you just give that to me, dude? You didn't have to do a giveaway.
You guys know, lasers and lights, you got to have them. You got to know what you're shooting at. You got to have them.
I'm very big on having lights on guns. You guys know I'm a big fan of my Surefires. Matter of fact, we're going to be doing, I mentioned the night shoot in our pistol carbine class. And I will have guys using handheld lights, but then also pistol mounted lights. And if you're not running one on your pistol, by the end of that one day at the one night on the range, I will change your life for sure. Jay, I believe Sir Holland would like to crack open the elixir of life.
Sir Holland ain't cracking shit.
Guys, I cannot believe you guys aren't realizing how awesome Jay is. In the chat room, Jay is awesome. Guys, you're allowed to enter up to 3 times. Susan, we are going to draw this at, we're going to say 9:25. So you guys have got basically 6 minutes.
What is don't ring the bell? He says, if you and Carl don't ring the bell, shame on you.
Ring the bell. He means he wants us to get tore up.
Oh, is that what it means?
Yeah.
Okay.
How about no? Guys, I got a class. I'm on the podium. I leave at 5:30 in the morning.
And I got to drive him home.
And he's got to drive him home. So I'll tell you what, we'll save it for another night. And so 9:25. That puts us.
Ring the bell means you give it up?
No.
Hey.
Here's a question. Tactical Rifleman, does a 30-year-old who wants to join the Army have any chance of being an Army Ranger or something similar, asking for a friend?
Well, absolutely.
I can answer that.
Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
My Ranger class, we had a 43-year-old A-10 pilot. He made it through.
All right, but that was Anger School. As far as him going to be in a Anger Battalion, you're starting to date yourself a little bit. But that's all right. That's not ruling. Dude, if it's laid on your heart that you want to serve your country in the military, get out there. Because I know a lot of guys that come in late that end up going SF, end up going Delta. Hell, Sularu was the oldest guy to go through scuba school. Why? Because he was too stupid to die. Literally, he should have died. Armando Chavera, 3 down 5 bones. Carl, what do you prefer? Full pulse thermal scope or clip-on in front of the scope for night hunting? Honestly, I use both. I like a dedicated thermal mounted on the gun, so it's literally zeroed, but I observe with a handheld thermal. Thermals are great for acquiring the target. That's what we used to use thermals for, acquire the target, and then you talk to your guy with the Gen 3 clip-on onto the target, so then he could actually identify it, friend or foe. Thermals have actually improved now to the point that if you rotate through the pallets fast enough, I could see Jay's mustache and beard and literally make out, hey, that's Jay Johnson, that's Steve Holland, that's Carl Erickson. So if I could only have one thermal and I was going hog hunting, it would be with a clip, with a dedicated
thermal hog hunting,
a dedicated scope. All right. Next one, SAS haloed onto a house in Sardar City, did a raid, then shot their way south of the Gold Wall in 2009. Baller. That's fine and all, but honestly, why? You know, don't get me wrong. There's like the MARSOC did a couple jumps. Marine Force Recon did a couple jumps outside Fallujah just because, to try to get guys in close because they knew the convoys would get compromised before they got there. Okay, I'll buy that.
Doesn't make you wonder, though?
I'm not taking away from them. I wish I had gotten a Halo combat jump. I never got one.
You spend a lot of money having people trained in that kit, and to keep them proficient, not to use it. It kind of makes you wonder if they're just... I mean, because if they don't do it, they'll let it go.
There's a lot of commanders that did not want it to happen.
That's a 6.8 carbine FLIR T70. 525 pound haul.
6.8. Glocks for kids, 5 bones, Carl, comma. When are you painting your Rubicon pink? What's today? Tuesday? Tuesday. So tomorrow would be, that would be never. That would be never. All right, Alex M. And Mrs. M. I hope he's got Mrs. M sitting with him. Anyways, I hope you guys can make the live stream here in a couple weeks, the Patreon live stream. Alex M. threw down 10 bones. Good evening, gent. Steve, based on your recommendations on the Barrett 6.8 30-round mags, which are discontinued, by the way, I've had a hell of a time finding them at my local gun show and online. Any other recommendations? Thanks.
Where is he located? Where is he located?
Alex M. The only times I see him are on my Zoom live streams. Him and his spouse come to live streams every once in a while. I don't know where. I don't remember off the top of my head. And Alex, I apologize. I don't remember where you're from. Number one. Number two, I really shouldn't be divulging your home address on the open internet. So as far as let's say Connecticut, only because they know he's not there. Ghost Enemy. While Steve's trying to come up with an answer, bust out the shot glasses. LOL. Oh shit. Honest guys, I can't do tequila tonight. Because I've already been drinking. Two, I have got to be on the podium first thing in the morning. Me and Travis Hall are running a medical class tomorrow. So I'm about to run these guys out of here. You've got 1 more minute if you want in on the giveaway of the Laser Guard Pro.
You move on over so you can get in there.
We're going to give this away in 1 minute. Susan, you go ahead and draw the winner with your computer program. Put it here in the chat room. And Steve is not flagging me, people. Actually, he did flag me. Not bad, dude. Not that bad.
This is the first ever prototype, hand-built, Mod H. SPR, Mark 12 SPR.
All right, real quick, guys, we have our winner. The winner is Elevated Agenda.
Agenda, congratulations.
Elevated Agenda. You are the winner of the Laser Guard Pro. This is one with the green laser, visible white light, free batteries for life. And I want to thank Joe, the knife guy, and Crimson Trace for hooking us up to do this giveaway. Guys, if you want to get your hands on one of these, Crimson Trace is a great company. You can go to tacticalrifleman.com, go to companies we love, scroll down to Crimson Trace, and I believe I have an affiliate code there for you. But for Elevated Agenda, here's what I need. And Donut will put it into the chat room for you, but I need you to take a picture, screenshot of your avatar. So I know you're not posing like Ray Craddock would do. All right, and email it with your mailing address to tacticalrifleman1@gmail.com. Tacticalrifleman1@gmail.com. Picture of your avatar. And I will have my son get it out to you this week.
I don't
want it.
Congratulations.
Jay wants it. I've already got it. I run it, guys. I have been running this thing. I
love it.
I started out just testing it. Because I'm a Surefire guy. I love my Surefire. Surefire did not make a appropriate light for a Glock 43X. So Crimson Trace had one.
Cheers.
And I still carry it to this day. I haven't been able to break it yet. I have not been able to break it. All right. So congratulations to Elevated Agenda. Good stuff. Talk about this blaster, Steve.
This was the beginning of the Mod H program. And when I was working on going down to a 16.5-inch barrel, going down to the 10-inch gas tube or the medium gas tube, at the time, I hadn't introduced precision reflex into this variation, and that's why I'm actually using an Armalite fiberglass tube here versus what I got precision reflex to do later on with the carbon fiber.
Okay.
Per my guidance. Notice I say precision reflex per my guidance. Shame on you. So basically, we were running with the front sight, 16.5-inch barrel, and instead of running a full-length gas tube and losing the dwell time as you would with the 5.5-inch from the original Eugene Stoner design as the post for the boat carrier, we just basically made it look like it was a full length, and we ran the gas tube back here at 10 inches instead of 8 inches like an M4 or M4A1, and we got the pulse difference, the dwell time to cycle the boat properly per Eugene Stoner by bringing it back here, but giving it a full-length gas tube, but floating the gas tube, but keeping the original front sight. Now, the only reason I use this, I've got examples of the original Ops Inc. muzzle brake, then the original Surefire muzzle brake for the 6.8, is because at the time, we were not married up with Ops Inc. and the full suppressor muzzle brake system.
Okay.
As far as running the 16-inch, because we hadn't decided until we worked with Phil Seeberger that you can put the collar on and then lock the Ops Inc. muzzle brake out and still be able to bring the suppressor on.
Okay.
Until we then that's when I went into drawing out the design, what I believe would be ended up being the fold down front sight, which now, of course, again, Precision Reflex is selling everybody as if it's their own, along with the Master Blaster charging handle, which definitely wasn't their design. The M84. Shame on you.
By the way, Susan is out now, guys, and she wanted me to pass on to Steve. Oi, oi, oi.
Oi, oi, oi.
There you go.
We're working on the American version. About 10 years from now, we'll never say that the Aussies were the one that originated the national chant, and then the national chant reply. Because we would then have had the American chant and reply for 10 years. But we're going to come up with something not just comparable to Aussie, 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 and oi, 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 but something greater than. In 10 years, you guys will get no credit.
Let's go, Brandon. No?
No. Okay. Because the Aussie is, they got the name of the country in there, Aussie, Australia. So it's got to be America something, and then a reply something. Anyway, back to the upper. So anyway, that's when we got the whole Army on board with free floating the barrel. Get the pressure of the optics, the lasers, and the sling off the barrel for accuracy, and break your barrel in. Okay,
but
with
that's
its precision.
For accuracy.
Break
That's
your barrel in.
Accuracy.
But that's for reliability and durability also. Because if you don't break your barrel in properly, and then all that copper gets fouled up in your lands and grooves, then your bullets start skewing everywhere and you can't group, and everybody, your team start looking at you, say you can't shoot worth of shit, and you keep saying, well, it's the gun. And you say, no, it's not the gun. Then somebody else shoots it, and they go, man, your gun's screwed up because you didn't break the barrel in properly. So,
how long's the barrel last?
A barrel lasts, depending on the rate of fire by the user, I would say
10,000 rounds?
5.56 rounds shooting
5.56.
M855.
Yeah.
Pick your flavor.
My flavor,
5.56.
a work gun, I'd say 3,500 rounds. 3,500 rounds, and I'm running it like I should. I'm a dump it. I'm a dump
3,500?
Yeah.
3,500 rounds.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I'll go 30,000 rounds.
That's a train up.
Yeah,
No.
that's a
I know,
train.
but that's what I'm saying.
That was the problem back there in the day.
But Jay, how many times have we had official agencies run our guns from 1,000 rounds to 2,000 rounds to 3,000 rounds to 10,000 rounds and give us results at each mileage and see what the accuracy production was? So I'm telling you, after about 3,500 rounds.
I can't speak to that, but I can speak to these guys doing train-ups and having SART teams come in, put new barrels on, you do a train-up, and it was hit or miss whether or not the barrel needed to come off again before you deployed.
Yeah, we were replacing.
So and those train-ups are what?
Yeah.
Those were probably 5,000 rounds?
Yeah.
But at that point, I wouldn't want to go into combat with that gun. If I run from, let's say 3,500, I give you 5,000, because remember we used to bore scope those barrels, and that chrome lining used to start to crack.
Ain't this so cool? Because I got and all you guys out there in TV land, and I got Jay hanging out over here on the other side of my office, and these guys are just bullshitting away. Ain't that cool? Because I can get a group of SF guys together, and we can talk shop.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll never agree.
We'll never agree to nothing, which is awesome.
And as you'll notice on this upper with the ACOG, this was the original platform that I put together when we started thinking about putting red dot sights on day optics. As you can notice, I'm not a really good person at milling a piece of aluminum optics, but I got it good enough to the point where I could put. Back then, the only thing that we had that was available, was a Dr. Optics.
Yeah, Dr. Optic. Yeah.
And here's a funny story about the Dr. Optics. First time Dr. Optics came out on the SHOT Show, and this is a no bullshit story. We go past, and I look at this thing. I said, "Is that what I think it is?" The guy says, "Yeah." It's a little doggone J-point aim point. So I go get the people from Crane, right? And I drag them over to Dr. Optic's booth, right? So
I got spares.
No, I got reflexes going here.
Okay.
So we're all excited. So when we get back, we're gonna have you guys get with Crane, and Crane is gonna get with you, and they're gonna buy some. You send them some, and we're gonna work everything out to where we can start reviewing this amazing miniature red dot sight. By the time the SHOT Show was over, and 2 weeks later we were up at Crane to discuss this, they said, well, I said, where the representative from Dr. Optic, J Point? They said, well, we don't have a representative for them. Here's a representative right here. I said, no, those are Knight Armaments guys.
Yeah.
They said, oh, Nice Armament, Reed Knight bought out Dr. Optic. I said, in 2 weeks, we bring you over to the booth, and we're excited, and you know that, hey, I'm Steve Holland. I'm going to make this shit happen. And within 2 weeks, Reed Knight has brought out the rights to sell this in the United States to the government. How did Reed Knight even find out? Well, duh. You know, and that's, and just, you know, so this shows back in the day, I don't even know, like, Precision Reflex even stole this one, you know, but you can see how I kind of, you know, chumped this up. I mean, I never said I was a designer or a machinist, but I can have vision. I'm an innovator, and I can see things and see forward into capabilities, and that's what I was good at. So this was one of the first where we ran 16.5 inches with the free float tubes, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna take my little raggedy 20-inch A2 that I used to shoot for precision rifle competition, and I cut it down, put the thing on it, you know, and everything else. I said, I want to run the medium gas.
He was cutting his own stuff, guys, developing this for the military, but it also went to. So this is the Mod H, basically.
Yeah, this is
Jerry J did throw down
$5
asking, what's the difference between the Mark 12 SPRs, Mod 0, Mod 1, Mod H? Mod 1.
The difference is when we originally started with the Mark 12 program. The main thing of the Mark 12 program was based on what I was seeing at the U.S. Army Marksmanship rifle teams down at Fort Benning. I took trips up to Camp Perry just to sit and watch these guys shoot. I didn't compete. I didn't do anything else, but I watched these guys shoot, and I sit there and watch their armorers tweak their guns and work with the shooters. And the main thing was they were shooting the 77 grain 5.56 bullet, which we did not have in our inventory, and they were shooting 20-inch M16 A2s. They had the A2 handguards, but underneath the handguard was this free float tube that Chris Murray had developed at the AMU to where you can lock your A2 handguards in it, and it looked exactly like an A2, except up front on the handguard collar, that collar was actually attached to a stainless steel tube that ran back to the barrel nut and the extension, and so that A2 barrel was totally free floated. No matter what they did when they slung up for like the 600 yard matches at Camp Perry, no matter how much pressure he put on that sling, that handguard was not touching that tube. The pressure from that sling wasn't touching that tube. So I sat there and I sit down with Chris. I sit down with Troy Lawton. I sit down with Sean Waller, and I said, guys, we have to bring this type of capability to the warfighters, and that began the Mark 12 program. So what we ended up doing was I started playing around in my little shooting sessions and competition and everything else, free floating away from the barrel. Well, and the reason we ended up with the M16A1, and unlike what people say on the internet, this one company that sells PRI Mark 12 uppers, is we switched to, well, that was the original Armalite fiberglass tube.
I got that.
Then I went to carbon fiber.
I got that.
And then had PRI do the carbon fiber, which they claim everything. But anyway, shame on them. So basically, what I was looking at was I need SOCOM support to change the ammunition give us a better option of M855 62 grain, which was the 77 grain that the AMU was using out to 600, 700. And I also needed them to allow us to free float the barrel. And I also threw in the heavy barrel part and everything else. So that's basically, the Mark 12 became instead of using the M16A2 handguards like the AMU did inside the fiberglass, the stainless steel tube that Chris Murray designed, AMU, I said, let's just do a tube. Let's just go with the tube. And we started off with the fiberglass, and all the guys, like he said, it's heavy.
Yeah. And
we had versions where we had the barrels fluted and everything else. We played with different combinations. And so we looked at 20 inches. And then we would shoot everything at 20 inches, and then heading into the 6.8 program, and then we'll cut the barrel down to 19 inches. We'll shoot it. Cut it down to 18 inches, then we'll shoot it. And then we remove the gas tube from the rifle length down to the mid length to the carbine length and shoot back and forth. Which brings, guys, I'm not going to take up a lot of time because we were also working with John Clements up at Crane, who ended up at Dev Group, who was doing what they call their recce rifle, which was a 16-inch upper, a free float handguard tube from Knights, but it was gas port was tapped at the M4A1 length, 8 inches. Let's say 8 inches. 8 inches, 10 and a half inches, and then 14 inches for the full length, whatever it were. So we ended up at 18 inches with the Mark 12 Mod 0, the Mark 12. Okay, Crane throws a Mod 0. Then all of a sudden, after a year and a half in combat, we get hit with the Mod 1. The Mod 1 was what? It was just their opportunity to let nice armament come in and steal another contract and just, just step in and just screw things up the way they always do, like they did with the little red dot sight. We said, hey, Troy, this is awesome. Let's do this. Let's make it work. And within 2 weeks after that, at the SHOT Show, Reed Knight owns the rights in the continental United States to the U.S. government. Just like that.
Admit he's good at business.
He's good. And I told him a couple times, I said, Reed, hats off. He is the man. He is. And so basically, when we ran 18 inches in Afghanistan, and guys, I can't tell you the stories. The guys, they would come back and say, Steve, man, I remember when Kevin, we were out at the 6.8 shoot where you shot the 25 millimeter that day, and Kevin was a medic. Kevin Moorhead.
Moorhead, yeah.
And after the demonstration was over, where all the government people were running away on their cell phones like, oh my gosh, we're shooting 6.8 ammo. They said it was a briefing, not a live fire. Oh, they actually made the ammunition on the reloader. Oh my God. Hey, Sergeant Holland, you know why you'll never be successful? I say, no, ma'am, why not? Because sergeants don't design ammo, and it's over with. You're done. I said, ma'am, get on the bus. Watch your step, please. Watch your step. Please go. And Kevin walked up to me, and he said, hey, so we're done for the day? I said, yeah. I said, Doc, you can go ahead and go. I said, you can get on the bus. I said, did you drive out here on your own? He said, yeah, me and my team guy, we came out and everything. We got a truck. And I said, hey, man, I appreciate you being here to give us some medical support. And he looks at me and goes, hey, man, I want to shake your hand. And I was like, okay, Doc. Okay. Body mechanic, whatever. Hey, thanks, appreciate it. No, he said, no, I want to shake your hand. I want to thank you for saving my life. And I'm looking at this guy. He's holding my hand. And I'm looking at this guy like, so where are we going with this conversation? Because I got a lot of things going. I got civilians getting on buses. I got rangers getting shut down, ammo being collected. I go, okay, Doc. He goes, no, I want to shake you. He said, oh, this right here. He said, this is incredible. He said, I was in Afghanistan and we got pinned down. And then I had my Mark 12 SPR and they were charging up the ridge and we couldn't get the fast movers in the time. We were being overrun. He said, and I was off to the flank. And all night I was just shooting guys as they popped up to fire an RPG or they popped up the machine gun, and I'm holding his hand. I'm like, that was you. I heard about that. The Silver Star. I never met this guy before. And I'm standing there like, and the only person that was there was Phil Seeberger of Ops Inc., who does the muzzle brake and the suppressor on the Mark 12. And Phil was like, is that the guy you told me about? I said, Mr. Seeberger, that's the guy. This is the guy. I was shaking his hand like, I'm glad to meet you. I was told, but nobody would ever put a name on it, even though we were in the same unit. Somebody said, "Hey, a guy got a Silver Star today in a formation, and he shot like 53 guys with an SPR at night." I was like, "Really?" But I'm just like, "Hey, man, find out who that guy was," because we were at war. We got a lot of things going. So the Mark 12 SPR at 18 inches. When the guys came back, then we went into Iraq the second time. Guys came back and said, "Hey, man, I like this thing like a designated marksman. When I'm doing entry for security in a building, I needed to be a little bit shorter." So that's when we started going to the 16.5 inch, bringing everything back. And when we had Precision Reflex come in as subcontract through Crane, we had them actually come to 5th Group, and I had them come into the building in the arms room, in the armament shop, and we swapped out everything and did everything. I said, "Hey, I need this kind of handguard tube, the folding sight. I showed them the design for the charging handle, so when the gas comes from the suppressor, it won't get in the guy's eyes." I said, "I wanted to build that up a little bit more, not affect function, but keep the gas from coming up underneath the guy's shooting glasses and vent it off." And of course, they took my drawings and they had my M84 charging handle. And shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Again, no, that's not government. That's the path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the inequities of the who? Of the selfish. Shame on you. And the tyranny of evil men. Because I know they go to church and their kids have gone to college in all this time since we started that program, and the kids are going to college. I've seen the facility blow up like crazy, and now their grandkids are probably in college, probably some Ivy League college. And it's like, oh, wow, and they go to church and they donate to everybody. That's such a wonderful group of people. Yeah, on the backs of other people. Kind of reminds me of the days of slavery, don't you think?
Oh shit! Did he?
Yeah.
Just go?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because why? Because why? The slave master can go to church all day, and people can say, "You're such a good person." Go ask the people back on the plantation.
White supremacist.
Go ask the people back on the plantation, who's got stripes on their back. That's how he's got that bug in that wagon. He can go to church. That's how he can give to the church and give to charity, and everybody's praising him. That's why you can be up in New Bremen, Ohio, in your fine new facility.
Did you just accuse...
I don't know, where we at? 60, 70, 80,000 square feet?
Did you just compare them to slavery, Steve? Did you just do that?
I think I did. I like to say I did.
All right, guys. I'm gonna
not to slavery. Not to slavery. To slave masters. The kind of personalities that say, you know what? I can do this and get away with it. You know why? Because he's a black man. Because had I been a white man, had I been a Carl Erickson, there would be no shame on you.
I disagree with that.
No, Carl,
the same way, Steve.
I have been there. I have been. The path of the righteous man is beset.
They would have shafted me.
The path of the righteous man is beset.
They would have shafted me
by the inequities of the selfish. Okay? I'm telling you.
I'm hitting that mute button. Let me reach back. All right. Steve is muted. All right, guys, here's the deal. I'm going to wrap this up for tonight.
Blessed is he who.
We have had a great live stream.
In the name of charity.
I want to thank Jay for bringing Steve.
And goodwill.
I'm also going to thank Jay for taking Steve home tonight.
Shepherds of the week.
We would like
through the valley of darkness.
Close it a little bit so he can finish reading. I put it up on the wall.
I'm not reading it.
Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
Blessed is he who, in the name of charity and goodwill, shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children.
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brother.
Shame on you.
And
they will
know my name is the Lord when I lay down vengeance upon thee. Yeah. All right, so we're back. All right, okay. I want to thank, not you. Yeah. I want to thank my sponsor again, Acre Gold. Guys, literally, it's discreet. You give your money, send them, it's $50 a month. Once your gold reaches the amount of a 2.5 gram gold bar, they ship it to you discreetly, quickly, and securely. And anyways, if you're interested in checking out Acre Gold, our sponsor, support them because they support us. I got their affiliate code right underneath the description in this video. I want to thank all my moderators again for helping us get through this. I want to thank Steve for the comic relief and all the jackassery. Jay, I want to thank you for bringing back some fond memories of my first A-team. Literally, I learned a lot from Jay. And though we went different paths in our career, he still will always be one of my SF brothers. You heard the deal. Next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel, different environment. We're going to be doing this from the Outpost Armory in Nashville. It is a open indoor shooting range. If you want to join us, come down and visit. We're going to have Ronnie Barrett there, Chris Barrett, a bunch of family and friends.
Amber D.
And we're going to do it. I want to thank all you guys for sending us these little care packages. For all my students that are going to be at the range tomorrow, we're doing a medical class tomorrow, 8 o'clock in the classroom, ready to train. The gate doesn't get unlocked until 7:45, so don't bother coming early. I don't want to see you before 7:45, but don't be late. Plus or minus 30 seconds or not at all. I will see you guys there. Yeah, that's all we got. Literally, I mean, we could go longer, but the reality is, guys, I don't want to. So, Steve, what are you showing now?
Tuesday,
another picture of a...
Co-hosted by Firearms Industry Representative Amber D. At the Barrett facility.
Masalama ya Walid.
Incoming right there.